Perfect.
Ha, purr. There's a cat in my lap.
Perfect. We do it live. Um, so the 12th annual DC shits.
Is it 12th?
Well, it is now.
I think it's 11th.
Oh yeah, we got it wrong. Because last week we said 11 or 12, and it was wrong. It was like 9 or 10. And we even counted, both of us like counted and everything. Oh yeah, 100%, we got it. Anyway, so welcome back to the annual. Um, and we're discussing today the capital. I want 3 capital letters on that shit, or else no one's gonna know the difference. The Suicide Squad.
The
Um,
far inferior of the two Suicide Squads.
I don't know, right? Because I actually heard going into this movie that the first one was so god awful ass, and the second one is amazing and blah blah and so much better. No, not really. They're about the same, I think. In terms of overall quality, they're about the same. I would say. Now they hit different beats though. I think certainly like the first one
But
tries to be a better air quotes movie. I don't know, a better story. It tries to be a real movie, and it just kind of fails at that. It had potential for that, but it was a little too wacky at times. The story was a little bit non-cohesive, and it had its own problems that kept it from being like a real movie. I'm going to use that in air quotes if you guys can't see my fingers. This one was just fucking wacky, goofy, over the top shit for like the entirety of the movie. Then they
and
slapped
it knew
on
it.
some of the real in the end of it.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. I mean, it was not as I don't think it was a little bit better executed than the second one. So I'm definitely
Yes.
gonna probably say the second one's better, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think it's a step above. I don't really, you know what I mean? Like I think the first one was probably right on brand for what the second one was as well. It was just that they got a little bit not lucky, but the way the story played out and the way the characters and stuff happened. I don't want to maybe not call it lucky, but like it just kind of fell into place. I don't know. The second one seems to just fall into place a little bit better.
It knew where it was going. It had a vision in it, and it stuck to it. Unlike the second one, or unlike the first one, where they kind of reeled back and they didn't know exactly where to go, and they tried to just salvage the movie in a certain way.
Right, right.
Um,
That
it
that
didn't
makes
want to stick
sense.
to what it was. It said, "No, no, no, we got to be this, this, and this," even though we already filmed this over here.
Right.
We
Um,
got to edit it in a way to change it up. Uh,
yeah, and for me, that was the only big moment where I caught something jarring like that in the second one was on the bus when they had that super drama scene with Rat Girl and
oh right, yeah,
Deathman. I can't remember his name, but um, I was like, "What the fuck is this?" Like, I genuinely was like, "What the fuck is this? Get your stupid emotions out of my slapstick comedy movie." Like I
right.
just, it just didn't make any sense. But it also brings me to like a funny thing though. I did not like this movie for the first like 20 minutes.
Hmm.
I was actually like, Jesus fuck, is it over yet? This movie's fucking terrible. Because the first 20 minutes were nothing but just like over the top bullshit. And it felt like it was just playing on Wow Factor. It almost reminded me of like, did you ever see that movie from Workaholics where those 3 dudes were like in a hotel and it got taken over by terrorists?
No.
Okay, well that movie was like it was okay. It wasn't terrible, but the movie had a bunch of like just fucking crazy bullshit for no reason. At one point, a dude's dick gets chopped off and thrown around the
Hmm.
room, and I was like, shit like that is just I don't like that. It's like, oh, I get it, wow factor, ha ha ha. So like the first 20 minutes of this movie was just fucking chopping people's heads off and like killing
Yeah.
motherfuckers and being as gross as we can and over the top as we can. Because look, it's wacky and it subverted your expectations. You thought they were gonna be alive, and I was like, it didn't catch with me. If anything, some of it made me kind of sad because a lot of it was kind of sad. Like he kills the fucking bird in the beginning. I was like, dude, what the fuck? Like I get that that's wow factor, but why?
Well, they're like, look, these guys are villains, but that's what that's establishing. But
I guess, but I mean yeah, I can see that. It definitely made me not like that guy. uh, but you're supposed to like the guys. I think that's the weird thing. They're supposed to be like not anti-heroes, but like weird
yeah, but
or
that group was just a diversion, so they're not even the main characters.
Right,
that
and
we're
that was
following.
another thing I didn't necessarily like because they were like, oh, they killed the weasel, which also was like not just kind of sad, but then it was like not funny either. So like it was like a little sad to me, but then it wasn't funny. So I was like, what the fuck is the deal?
I liked Weasel. He's my
He, yeah,
favorite.
I like him. I was like, dude, the fucking he's like licking the door. That shit was funny.
Did you
Um,
watch both end credit scenes?
yeah, I seen he came back.
Yeah,
So I was like, what the fuck? Like, well, what does that do? Like, he came back, which made me happy.
it's just funny. Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of that stuff was like the first opening scene. Just it didn't resonate with me very much. Um, Also, I don't know if I'm not a big fan of this in general, but I definitely know I wasn't a fan of it in this movie. Is the show a bunch of crazy bullshit and then go back a certain amount of time, and like like 3 days
Oh yeah.
before. I don't know.
You don't like that kind of storytelling. I got you.
Right.
I love that shit. So
I don't know if it's that I don't like it at all, because I liked it in Harley's shit, right?
right.
Because she starts telling the story and she's like, hold on, let's go back. And she's like, I'm going to start this fucking story wherever I feel like. And it was funny because it was just like disjointed and didn't make, not that it didn't make sense at all, but it was just kind of funny. Oh yeah, I never told you about those guys. Hold on, we got to go back a little bit. It's funny.
Only did it once, right?
I think she did it twice.
No, I'm talking this movie.
Oh, this movie, yeah, just did it once.
Yeah,
But I guess
and they go like, "Oh, team two. Oh, there's a team two," and then had to cut back to when she hired the actual team two that they were actually gonna follow.
right.
Um,
I guess for me, it felt like it just wastes my time. I
mm,
think that's why I didn't like it in this movie.
yeah,
Because in like Harley's film and I guess other films that have done it, it's usually something interesting is happening. We're following it, but it's like, holy shit, who the fuck are these people and what's going on? How does it get here? And then they go back and they show you how they got there. The entire beginning scene didn't need to be in the movie. I mean, yeah, it establishes why Harley was on the island, so I guess some of this stuff carries over.
yeah. But they got Rick and Harley on the island, so it sets up the two um side quests to go pick them up
Right,
or
but you could have done it
subplots.
in a better way.
But I mean, I think even Harley, as much as I love Harley Quinn in this movie, and I like Margot Robbie, I don't think she's essential to the plot at
No,
all.
not
But
really.
right, so she's extremely superfluous. But
I do like all her bits though, so like I'm
yeah,
okay with it.
that's what I'm saying. Like I loved her in this movie, but it is definitely like it's icing. It's like unnecessary, but yeah,
Right, it's
I'm
fan
not gonna
service,
fucking
but
eat
in
it.
a good way.
Right,
It's well done
exactly,
fan service.
exactly.
No one's like, ugh, why the fuck is it here? It's wasting my time. It's like, no, it blends well. It's good. Doesn't have to be there, but it's nice.
Yeah,
That dude, she fucking killed me. One of my favorite scenes in the whole fucking movie. She kills all those dudes and breaks out of the little prison.
yeah.
They show up. What are you doing here? We were coming to save you. I can go back upstairs. You can try it again.
No, my favorite is when she kills the president of Puerto Maltese, and because he mentions something about torturing or like killing their if someone
Kids,
like if someone fucking uh
they betray me or
tries
something.
to betray him or rebel against him, he's not just gonna kill them, he's gonna kill their children and their family too. And so she fucking says she fucking shoots him and goes, I promised myself I would do the right thing when I saw a red flag and I would kill him.
Bro, right? And I know what you're thinking. You were just gonna say this, and then I'd say, "Why are you yelling?" And she had the whole fucking thing down, bro, dog. That shit was so fucking funny. And I know, why do they have to shoot you? Because the men that I always have taste in don't just let you walk away. I already know better. I said, you're right. You couldn't have just fucking left. It's not like he was gonna let you do that.
God,
That
damn.
shit was funny as fuck, dude. Yeah, her moments are fucking great. I love the personification of her character too. Coming from her movie to this one,
Mhm.
man, I love it. Cause she's a real person. Like, yeah, she's fucking a little demented and crazy, a little kooky, but that's cool because now it's a part of her character. It's not is the character.
Right.
I love it, dude. Cause that shit, she genuinely looked so sad. Like, you were gonna save me. I'll do it again. I'll go back upstairs. Let's really try. Fucking can't. And then what's up with the spear? I don't know. I'm waiting for God to tell me. The fucker said, Jesus Christ. Or him. I mean, any of them will do. Oh my god, I fucking can't, dude. They wrote her, whoever wrote those lines, fucking gold, dude. She was just phenomenal in the movie. Which is so funny. If any of you guys don't know, I hated this character. I have hated her, and by extension, she made me even hate the Joker, which is a really good character who I never had that much a problem with growing up, because of just how fucking terrible and annoying that she turned into, and all her fans and everyone for like since like mid 2000s to like mid 2010s. It was just fucking obnoxious. Everything was just Harley Quinn, and it was either people just, jerking off because she's some hot babe, or females who idolized her of like, oh, she's just so this, and it was just because it helped them understand their own toxic relationships they had in their own life, and they idolized that shit. And I was like, that's not healthy. She's not in a healthy relationship. She's not healthy. Being crazy is not healthy. Don't idolize that shit. So like, so much of it was just fucking terrible and annoying with the character. But then I don't know, and that's why I'm so happy nowadays. Is that yeah, she's kooky and crazy and whatever the fucking she didn't lose. I think the parts of her that make her character unique. She just gained a
Right.
personality behind it that makes me identify with the character enough to think, oh, she is a real person. She does have real feelings and emotions and thoughts and dreams and goals. Like, a lot of times they just lose that, and it's a similar thing with Joker too. There's renditions of Joker where he seems like a fuckabout. Like he doesn't have any real motivations. He doesn't have anything. It's just I'm fucking crazy, which is like cool. I mean, I get you want to have that as a big, progenitor of what his character is. It's like Superman being a good guy. So you have to have these things. But when that becomes so one-dimensional and the character loses any amount of depth, get fucked. Like that shit's not enjoyable. Um, but anyway, that was my rant. Sorry, short story long. Fucking her character's
We're
great.
gonna go back from the top after
Um,
the fucking team one gets annihilated.
Uh, yeah. So Team One, gets fucked. That whole intro scene sucked. But dude, what's her name is back in action. What's her fucking what's the boss lady, the bad bitch?
uh, uh, Viola Davis.
Holy,
Wait, that's the actress.
oh
Amanda
god,
Waller.
yeah, fucking Waller. Oh my god, what a bitch, dude. Yeah, it'd be a shame because in that state they could be tried as an adult, and under certain circumstance, she could end up right here with us.
I
Man,
love it. I love the way that she's
God,
practicing.
jeez, it's very rare I've hated a character so much. And she does it really well, dude. Fuck. Holy cow, she's perfect for the role. She is the perfect fucking actor. I don't know, maybe there could be some other good ones, but
Nah, no
she,
one can play Amanda Waller
whew,
like Viola
she
Davis.
is killing that shit,
She
dude.
is her.
I have to
maybe
imagine.
maybe Angela Bassett, maybe, but
I was gonna say, who's the other one who did Six from when Siege was
that was Angela
originally?
Bassett.
Yeah, she probably
Yeah,
could do it pretty good, but whew,
yeah.
it's gonna be tough, I think.
I don't know. She's 6. She can't be. She can't be. No. She's a good lady.
Right? But yeah, no, that shit was good. But yeah, after all that bullshit, when they start the actual introductions, it was fucking great. From that point on, again, like I get lost in some of the wacky shit. This is why I say even after the introductions and everything, when they were in the jungle, it's hard for me to care about a movie like that. And the reason is the stakes are so low. And this
Right.
is why it's hard for me to enjoy movies like this, which is why I want to make sure I'm trying not to be biased, but understandably, some of my opinions are going to be based on that, even if I can try
Mhm.
and be objective. Is that I don't. When you have a movie that's so wacky, I don't care about any character because they could just die randomly because you're just going to kill them for the wow factor and for fun. So I don't have any attachments to any characters. Uh, the plot, I don't have any attachment to the plot or how it unfolds because how it's going to unfold doesn't really matter because it's like, oh no, we're trapped in this dangerous situation. But what's this? A random wacky thing happened. Someone backed up a truck and ran over the dictator, and now he's dead, and we get to run away. Who could have seen it coming? Like, and yeah, honestly, even regular action films and even dramas and stuff, they do arguably, random bullshit that kind of moves the plot forward. But in movies
Mhm.
like this, it's really arbitrary. Like somebody trips and falls, and now their head's exploded. Who could have seen that coming? Um, so it just makes me not as invested, and I'm not one to spend a lot of time just enjoying explosions.
Right.
I enjoy a good explosion. I enjoy a good fight scene, but if I feel like it doesn't have any weight or depth, it's hard for me to really get invested. And so we talked about this before. I don't know if it was in a. Me and George talked about this anyway. I don't know if it was in a recording or not. But we talked about comedy and how the new comedy is just a lot of wacky bullshit. How over the top can we be? And I think I mentioned the other one too, that movie at the start of this recording. That's the best I can compare it to. Is that's like
Mhm.
more comedy movies. I don't give a fuck about the stakes or anything else and how it's progressing because the characters' motivations are arbitrary. The way the plot moves is arbitrary as fuck. Like, it doesn't matter. Anything can just change in a fucking dime, and it's just cheap. Versus like old comedy. Old comedy was good, even if it was stupid and wacky. And I'm gonna bitch about this all the time because they're just low hanging fruit. But looking at something like Biodome, which is just stupid, wacky motherfuckers who seem like they have no motivation at all, but they're just dumb. That's part of their characters that pushes the plot forward. Them being dumb plays off other characters in the world who aren't dumb. So when that shit gets interacting, it causes drama and it causes tension. It causes exciting things to happen that are either funny or even dramatic. It's like, what the fuck you shouldn't do that. And then other characters in the movie are pissed, and now you're thinking, oh shit, they fucked it up. And it has consequences. Whereas a lot of new comedy, there is no consequences. And I think back to like The Interview. A really good movie, but it was sort of the threshold of when these movies started doing that more often. They're in a fucking secure location. All these different stakes. They're in Korea. Things are important. They have to be undercover. They drop a fucking missile out of the sky, which means they had to be in contested airspace, and he shoves it up his ass and then walks back in, fucks it up, sticks it to his hand, and kills the guard by accident. None of that shit has any stakes at all because, like, now they're just dropping random shit into the movie. So, like, them being in the situation they were in doesn't matter because now you've shown me that at any point in time you can call in a fucking hella strike or drop random things into the place or whatever. You can just kill his guard and get away with it. No one investigated why that guy died. Nothing.
I think he died towards the end of the movie.
Oh, did it? Oh, he was sick throughout and then he died later.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I thought they killed him like there.
Nah, because the poison was supposed to be slow acting. That way that they could just shake with Kim Jong Il's hand, or Un's hand, and then they could leave, and then it could just seem like he fell sick at some point and then died.
Got you.
Which wouldn't have accomplished what the U.S. wanted to, anyways. But whatever, it doesn't matter. That's a nitpick. Well, it's whatever.
right. And it's not so important. It's just for sake of example, I guess, so we don't get too far lost. But
yeah,
that's the kind of stuff that when you just don't have any stakes or anything that's important, then it just makes it uninteresting. And then your character's development is also uninteresting. Like, those two characters didn't develop throughout the movie. I don't give a fuck. They were stupid goons at the beginning and stupid goons at the end. And they try and make you think they developed, but they didn't. They had a little tussle. The two bros were like, I'm mad at you because you didn't think that he's my friend. Because he's not your fucking friend. He's not. And it's like, no, he's my friend. Wait, he honey dicked me? Yes. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, it's funny, I guess. It adds, like, drama, question mark. It's not real drama, but it's tension. But they didn't grow from that. That didn't matter. You know, like, that doesn't matter for the characters at all. You know, when I look at some, like, stupid comedy like Biodome, it mattered. Them getting trapped in there completely changed their life. But they didn't realize that until the end. They were in, by the end, they're the same fucking goofy assholes. But they realized they don't want to cheat on their girlfriends, which is a big deal. That they could have banged those scientists hot babes, but they didn't. And then they're like, you know what, maybe we should be more mindful of, like, at least trying to not be dickheads, you know what I mean? Or, like, fucking pollute or whatever, you know? It had at least good enough messages that you could follow. I'm not saying it was a world-class whatever. But anyway, short story long, comparing, that's why I give you examples. I give you guys examples so you can understand where I'm coming from, so it's not just me bitching out of context, or we can't understand where we're coming from, and then you can't think critically if you don't know why someone said something. That's why I check out in movies like this, because it seemed like in the beginning they were showing me a bunch of wacky shit. But overall, by the end of it, to spoilers, I'll jump ahead, it got me by the end. We will get there, but it did get me by the end. A couple characters anyway. But yeah, dude, starting off, back to the fucking regular scheduled program. That shit when he meets when he meets the Peacemaker, holy shit, that was funny. I have a unique team with special skills. This is a fucking joke. It's like, what? He does exactly what I do. Yeah, only better. That shit was fucking... What do you mean? I never missed the target. Yeah, me neither. I hit everything in the center. Yeah, me too. But I use smaller bullets, so it hits in the center of your center without touching the walls. It's like... That shit was fucking funny. That shit was really funny. Some of his lines... God, I hated that character. It's also a backstory. Every time I seen this movie, I saw him on, like, the promotional material, and I was like, I'm not gonna watch this fucking movie.
John Cena?
Yeah, I seen John Cena in the promotional material. It's like, this is a fucking joke. I was like, just look at him. He's
I love
fucking
it. I love that
stupid.
James Gunn uses their fucking actual comic book designs for all of them, and it's fine. It doesn't seem out of place. I found it funny because he is a joke. He's a literal joke. Uh,
I thought he looked
uh,
so stupid. I was like, I'm not watching that dumbass movie. I said, I
he
can tell.
wholeheartedly believes when he said, "I love justice with every part of my heart. I'll kill. I don't care how many men, women, and children I have to kill to fucking keep it."
Dude, that shit was gold. Oh man, that shit was fun. When he fucking shows up in his goddamn tidy whities, damn near butt naked, I said, what the fuck is he doing? And then, thank you, dude turns around, what the fuck are you doing? And I was like, what? He said, in tidy whities? That's just racist. That shit was funny as fuck. Oh
Really,
my
Tiny
god.
Whitey's? That's just racist.
That shit was so good. Yeah, his fucking lines were hilarious, dude. He really was funny. um, and he didn't feel so out of place, or he took himself seriously enough, I guess, but other
Yeah.
people didn't. So that's what made him funny or good. And I think this is we talked about this before. For you guys don't know.
It's jokes in character. It's not like he's not making random quips. It's the joke is he's so serious about his job, and everyone else finds him really funny.
Right, and that's what makes it good.
Yeah.
That's what makes it really funny, and I think that's why, me and my buddies, and for you out of context, whoever's watching or listening, that I have this thing where like I like joke characters, but then all of a sudden I'll fucking hate a joke character, and it's like in fighting games or whatever else, and it's like, what? That's right up your alley. And I found out the difference was that if a joke character takes themselves really seriously or tries to anyway, but it's like a half and half, where like people in the world treat them seriously sometimes, but not really. I can't stand that shit. Because then I can't understand the character or how to enjoy them. But a good example is someone like Rufus from Street Fighter 4. I love that fat motherfucker. He had jiggle physics on his belly and everything. Oh my god. You fought the rest, now fight the best. I love that shit. And nobody respected him. All the character lines and the quotes and everything, people just shit all over that guy. That's why I like Dan. Everyone just shits all over him and he's a fucking joke. But he's funny and he takes himself seriously. So that can make something, enjoyable. Just like this character, he really grew on me because all the promotional material, I thought, this is fucking stupid. He's a joke. I'm not going to like that character trying to be serious. But now I do like it because he's trying to be serious, but everyone else in the fucking world notices how stupid he looks. And that's important for a joke character, or at least someone like that, is
Yeah.
everyone else needs to make fun of them, but they need to be serious about what they're doing, because so you're not making jokes. Like, he should not be making a joke. And I think oftentimes joke characters turn into that, where they're the ones making the joke, and they're trying to be funny, but then they try and be serious. It's like, no, you can't do that. You can't make a joke and then turn around and try and be serious. It's contradictive to, like, your character building. But anyway, so that shit's funny as fuck. When they introduced the rat, he said, did that rat just wave at me? Oh my god. Fucking Sebastian? Dude, I was in love first sight. I said, look at the adorable little mouse! Oh my god.
He would be.
Fucking Sebastian. I couldn't, dude.
He waves at everyone. When he waved at the lady, she's like, is that rat waving at me? And Rick Flack's like, it appears so.
Why? I think it means he's friendly? Oh my god, that shit was funny. And then when they met, dude, also, let's just get this shit out of the way. The single best character in this entire movie, George, I think you know who it is.
Nom Nom?
Yeah!
Do you know who voices Nom Nom? Or Nanawe? Nanawe? Huh?
Who is it?
Sylvester Stallone.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I knew there was something I liked about him. I knew it. No, that fucking character is so good, dude. Holy shit. He's sitting there with the book is upside down. He's just like nodding, looking at it. Oh, what are you doing? Book.
Read. Book. Read.
Me like book. Oh my god, that shit was fucking. He was so genuine. Holy.
No,
I can't.
Me smart.
That shit was fucking funny. Cause they. Excuse me. What they got me so good about that character is he. I don't like blumbering idiot characters at all. I fucking can't stand them. Yeah, me smash, me do something. It just gets tiresome and annoying. It's like any edition of like Hulk where he's just not angry Hulk. I'm okay with angry Hulk, like fucking smash, let's kill some shit. That's okay, because he's just ignorant because he's fucking angry and just trying to smash shit and blinded by rage. I'm a little bit better off with that, considering he's like my favorite character from the universe. But like barbarians or like dumb characters, like yeah, me do something. I don't like them because they're just stupid for jokes, for laughs. But it's almost like not funny because they're not being funny. But it's not like serious because they're dumb. So I don't know how to take characters like that. I don't. But this one, he was dumb, but he was so fucking genuine. Everything he did had so much like heart behind it. I fucking couldn't. I fell in love with this character almost immediately. That shit was too good. Cause he just seems like a nice little kid almost.
Yeah.
Like dude, when he was picking her up and gonna eat her, that shit was the fucking rat girl. Oh my god.
She didn't believe it too when she woke up. Like, he wouldn't do that.
Right.
And then the rat was like, "You bastard!"
Right. Oh my god. But yeah, then she was like, "Well, what if you wouldn't eat your friends?" I don't have friends. I was like, well, what if we were friends? Yeah. And I was like, dude, he just wants friends? Oh my god. That shit's just too good. And the fucking dude, the mustache, George. Oh my god.
Disguises. How are you gonna get a disguise? Mustache.
That shit. Fuck. I said, yes, please put him in a fucking mustache. Oh my god. That shit. And they're like, no, you can't come with us. Oh, fuck. I was just so sad. Yeah, he's just sitting in the van alone. I was like, oh, he doesn't get to go to the party and drink with everybody. That shit was so fucking... They just made me care so much about this fucker. I don't know... He's just adorable. That's what it was. They made this fucking giant monster who eats everyone adorable. I don't know how you do that. God, it was so good.
I don't know. I think giant monsters are adorable.
I guess it depends. Did you see... What was that shit, bro? That fucking... the movie where, like, the chick, she's like a giant lady, and she talks... They were all in prison together with the blob. I think it was Seth Rogen was the blob monster.
Oh, I didn't see it. No. Something
that
with
shit
it. Yeah.
was funny.
I've been meaning to watch that. It's been on my watch list.
It was actually pretty good. He said, so what's your monster name? Or she was like, Susan? He said, the Susan is coming? That shit was funny as fuck, because they were all monsters. She just happened to be big. But she was like a housewife or something, like a mom.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, he was adorable. He said, look, new stupid friends. And I was like, fucking, he was playing with the fish. I said, bro, he made new friends. They're adorable. And when they fucking turned on him, dog, literally the last 15 minutes of that movie was just me at the edge of my seat, like holding my chest, like, fucking don't die. You better not kill my fucking King Shark or I'll be pissed. I'm giving this movie a 0 out of 10 if he dies, damn it.
Did you see the tear coming out of his eye whenever he fell?
No, I didn't see it. Oh my god.
I didn't even catch it on my second watch. Keely had mentioned it. I said, what? And I rewinded it. He's crying because his friends were eating him.
Bro! Holy shit. Just stop. I can only like a character so much, damn it. God, yeah, he was the best part. I could fucking just rave about him. Him and the rat girl are honestly the reason why I would rewatch that movie. Their characters are just fucking great. Both of them throughout. I love their fucking lines. She acted really well too. Like everything she did. I don't know if I've never seen her before in something, but probably I did and forgot.
I don't think I've seen her in anything
But
before.
she did a fucking phenomenal job. I hope she gets more roles.
Right.
Because she did really well. She did drama pretty good. I mean, obviously most of it she plays just like a tired, angsty teenager. But she did stuff really good. She had laughing moments, everything else, and it was just a really well done, personified, shown character.
Right.
But what do you call it? Carrying on. So they killed all of the good guys. That shit, it got me. I'm not gonna lie. That shit was fucking funny. Cause even Waller gives him the information. He's been kidnapped. here, and I'm like, so did he just? Because he did get kidnapped, right? We saw it. But I'm
Yeah.
like, so did they take away his communication device? Because somehow he didn't get in touch with Waller at all, but it wasn't until they got to the city the communications got jammed. So I mean, I guess the way it worked out, she just thought he was kidnapped.
Yeah.
Fuck, she's
But he
sitting
got
in there.
rescued. He got rescued by the fucking rebels.
Oh, that makes sense. They killed them and got him back, but he still lost the communicator because they already took it when they kidnapped him.
Yeah.
Smart. Yeah, that shit was funny as fuck. She said, "We don't know how many there are, and you better exterminate them with extreme prejudice." They killed the fuck out of all those guys. And then wait, why didn't my men alert me that you were here? I didn't see anybody. I didn't see any, but there was nobody here on the way in. I thought they were my mom, and I killed all of them. Stupid motherfucker. Their little competition was funny as
Yeah.
fuck too.
Ratcatcher. She's a Portuguese actress. She mostly has only been in Portuguese films.
Oh, so she must be like very famous there, and then got her big time in America.
She doesn't have that many films, but yeah, all these seem to be really like upper, like high, like 7s and 6s on IMDb. So there's a couple 5s, whatever, doesn't matter.
Maybe
But
that's her
she's
first ones.
yeah, well, it's actually a couple later ones,
Oh.
but yeah, the only movies she's done in the States or in English are Guardians 3, Fast 10, and this movie.
Oh, she's
And in
in
Guardians 3,
Guardians?
she's a random like waitress or
Oh,
something. No, she's the girl that held hostage
spoilers.
when they were escaping in the white
Spoilers.
area.
I still
Okay, you
seen
haven't
it.
watched Guardians? Okay,
Yeah,
never mind.
but
Well, yes, minor character, minor character.
okay. But
Extremely
she
minor.
seems like actually, you know what's funny? Looking at like the thumbnail and everything, she looks like a Fast and Furious character. Like,
I still haven't seen Fast 10, but I also haven't seen like
I
any
haven't seen
Fast
anything
Furious
since Drift,
past like
so-
5. Well, yeah, I've seen what 2 Fast Drift, I guess. Yeah.
yeah, I've seen Fast Furious, Too Fast, Drift, and I think one other one. That was the last.
Okay, yeah, I stopped after 5. I stopped after Drift, but then I started watching the next 2, and then after 5, I stopped watching entirely.
Got you. But yeah, it's funny. She almost has like the face. I don't know how to describe that. Like the Vin Diesel. The what's her name? The other like the fucking Latino chick.
I don't remember her name.
They all look the same. Does that make sense? They all look like they're fucking like they look like they belong in the same universe somehow. I don't know how to describe that. Like, that shit is funny. But what do you call it? Fuck, where were we? Oh yeah, the little fucking the competition. That shit was
Yeah.
funny. He said non-lethal, you lose, and they didn't. That's the best part, because that's that shit that men do. We never said it was a competition. No one even hinted at it. And somehow, two dudes will have a competition. And they'll both know it's a competition. But nobody will say shit until the end when they both say, no, I did this better than you.
Right.
Me and John Kang did that shit one night. We were going from the SEC to McDonald's. And we literally were like, all right, let's get some McDonald's. Hell yeah. So we hop in our cars. No one was running to the car. We were just walking to our cars like normal. As soon as I pulled out of SEC, I fucking floored it. Just no reason at all. Just my brain said, we need to get there before John. Fuck him. So I hauled ass. I got there, and I hop out, and I see John fucking speeding around Heron Circle, and he was getting into the fucking parking lot right behind me. I said, what happened, John? You're going a little slow there. And he said, yeah, whatever, fuck you. And I said, I knew it. I knew it was a fucking race. I don't know how that happened. Like, we were walking to our cars like normal, but somehow, as soon as we hit the road, it was like, no, fuck that. We need to get there now. Oh, man. So them doing that was fucking priceless.
Right.
You see a
Oh, my
non-lethal. It's delayed explosion bullets. The fucker blew up. That shit was pretty good. But let's see.
Yeah, they show up, and then the girl who's leading the rebellion, whatever she
Oh yeah, makes a deal with the devil. Makes a deal with them.
yeah.
They do that. Then Harley Quinn has her scene there, I think. Then it goes into her
Yeah,
montage.
it shows her like they capture her and they basically like clean her up and then they bring her to the president because they want her to marry him.
Right. That plot line was
yeah.
a little weird.
Yeah.
My people are old-fashioned. I have to have a wife for them to respect me. Really?
Yeah.
Also,
Makes
I didn't think she was like anti-America. She's just like fuck everyone. She's like, fuck Gotham.
Right.
Not really. She's not even fuck Gotham. She's just like, I'm doing what I
You
want
just
to do.
fuck Joker.
Right? She's fuck Joker now. Yeah. So it's like I don't think she was ever that. So it's kind of weird how they
Well,
got that.
well, if you follow the comics, the Joker is super American. He only buys American.
Hell
So
yeah.
since she's anti-Joker, she's anti-American.
Ah,
Uh.
my man.
Did
Dude, they fucking killed the birds. I don't like that shit. Why'd they do that?
they kill the birds?
They burnt them all in fucking flames. They fucking covered them in gas and burned all the birds. Like not on screen, but close enough.
Oh.
After
I
like
don't remember
the new guy takes over, his like fat buddy.
Ah.
He said, yeah, he was a romantic. He was a
Oh,
brother
right.
to me. But fuck that
Right,
guy.
yeah.
And they burnt all his birds. I was like, dude, what
Yeah.
the fuck?
They gotta show you he's evil.
Fuck that. I already
In case
knew
you
he
didn't
was
know.
evil.
In case you didn't know he was evil.
No, that's too far, bro. I knew he was evil. There was a couple moments like that. I think it was killing the bird in the beginning and then killing that one. I'm like, I get it. But fuck, man, that hurts my feelings. Like, some of that shit's like too sad. Oh yeah, what is Star Labs? I know that shit is like a reference to something. It's in a different movie or different fucking comic. They're like, oh, he was a researcher at Star Labs. I swear to God, I heard that shit like within the last month. I've heard that, or else I won't remember anything.
It
has
was
to have been recent.
It was in one of the movies.
You know, I never Googled it. Let me just fucking Google it. I'm stupid. I don't know why. I was like, and I was thinking about it in the movie. Google is such a powerful tool that we. How many often do you guys do this if you're listening? Where you just like think about something and think about it and then ask your friends and it's like, fuck, I don't know. And it's like you have the answer fucking seconds away on your phone.
It's not in any of the new movies we've watched. It's in a lot of the shows.
Let me see. Star
It's the
Lab.
lab where Flash gets his power.
Is that where I would know it from?
Yeah, probably.
Introduced in Superman 246. It was founded by a scientist, blah, blah, blah. He did some stuff. Star Labs, blah, blah, blah. Justice League International. Sponsors include people.
It's mentioned in a bunch of DC shit, so.
Right. I'm just so, like, confused. Because
it is in Man of Steel.
Is it?
It makes a cameo appearance in the climax of Metropolis Skyline. Star Labs appears in video obtained by Bruce Wayne from LexCorp, emailed to Diana Prince. Cyborg's father works there.
Okay,
He's
cool.
the
That's
head
what it
and lead
was. It was
scientist.
Cyborg's dad. Yeah.
Yeah.
He said, yeah, because I'm the such and such of Star Labs. And then he has, like, the fucking thing. You know what's pretty cool, too? That's actually in Teen Titans. It says it mentioned in the cartoons.
Yeah.
A microchip
Yeah.
Cyborg used to upgrade himself.
Yeah, it's mentioned in like a lot of DC stuff. It's like the scientific research lab in DC.
Got you. That's the one where I knew it from. I knew it had to be recent, because my memory is so fucked that if I know something, it has to have been close enough. But cool. So yeah, Star Labs. So what was I didn't write it down. I should have wrote down what the fuck Star Labs is doing in this movie.
They're researching the alien, the people who got like the
they're the ones who
starfish,
picked up.
Project Starfish or whatever, on their faces.
Yeah, they're the ones who picked him up from space.
Yeah.
Speaking of the starfish, I'm not too much in depth. Maybe we'll get there later. But like, I really felt bad for him in the end.
Right.
God damn! Like when he says, "I was happy, just exploring the stars," and I say, "God damn it!" and then he died. I was like, "That's fucked." That shit made me feel really bad. Like, holy shit, man. They got me with that one. But let's see, dude. When he's talking about his fucking helmet.
Yeah.
He said a guy wears a toilet seat on his head. It's a beacon of freedom, not a toilet seat. It's just so funny. It's a beacon of freedom. God, stupid fucker, man.
Yeah, they didn't try to modernize Starro at all. He looks exactly like that from the comics. The little star face on people's faces. The most comic booky shit, and I love it.
Right. Dude, did you? Let me see, because you're not like an artsy fucker, but like you at least.
I am an artsy fucker.
You understand them enough that like you'd be able to say when Harley was doing her escape scene. I imagine I had in my notes that I imagine some artsy fartsy fucker is probably going to notice the music in that scene and go, "It is just an awesome ode to this and this, and it means so much and blah blah," and just rave about the fucking music track. I thought it was just okay and it kind of random. It was like, oh, put some not classical music. I can't remember what genre it was, but
I definitely wasn't listening to it, so I
okay.
wasn't paying much attention to the music. I was looking at the visuals because apparently I missed the blood turning into flowers initially,
Really,
and
that was a
I
weird part for me. I noticed it like it's pretty
I didn't
obvious.
even notice it initially. I was like, I don't. I was so like, just like,
Asleep?
oh man, look at Harley. She's kicking so much ass. And
Oh,
then,
that's funny. But yeah, I see things like that and like reviewers. I haven't watched a lot of reviewers recently. I don't know if it's because like now we're doing stuff, so I want to keep my opinions untainted, which I think is actually not a good thing. I think I need to watch more because the
mm,
more that I watch, the more reference I can have that I can
hmm
understand how other people are feeling about it. Because then I can be like, oh yeah, I heard some other reviewers complaining about this. I don't think it's that bad, or maybe yeah, I guess they're right, or I can see why, but how do we fix it? You know what I mean? I can't make really as meaningful commentary unless I understand someone
hmm
else's opinion, right? I can always give my own or what my thoughts on it, but you can't really have dialogue unless you have other opinions. And I think most of the time, mine and yours, while they differ, it's usually in line with like a respectable, objective take. It's not
hmm
just fucking trash. Look at this fucking scene. I can't believe how awful this scene is. Or I cannot believe the undertones that they used in this scene. It's so beautiful. It is a complete and utter kiss to the environments and to this and this. And I'm like, just shut the fuck up, dude. Like, God. Some of these review things, I actually watched, that's lied. I watched a review about a video game recently. And they were just, I have to turn them off sometimes because the way that these people carry on and suck their own dick with all these big fancy words. Holy. I don't know how you guys can stomach it. If you guys listen to us, please leave in the comments how you can stomach that shit, or maybe that's like just me. But when someone starts a fucking like they're trying to say like, oh yeah, the music in this scene was really good, and even I guess you can explain it a little bit better than that. But they start off with like such crazy shit. Like I wish I had examples. It's so hard for me to remember good examples. I'll come back to you guys later if I remember. So that's never gonna happen. Um, with examples of what I'm talking about like and the in the silence, it's like an embracing into the void of the just pure destruction as this scene unfolds, and then we hear the crescendo of this thing that starts opening up an entire world of this, and it's like, shut the fuck up. That shit is too fucking much, dog. Like, yes, I get it. The music escalated the scene. We all understand how that works. It's like having a fucking scary movie and you hear in the background as some shit's about to pop off. I understand, and we can definitely have dialogue about how music affects a scene, or
right.
about
This is
how
a different
like,
video entirely, but yeah.
huh?
That's a different video entirely, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah, we're not gonna do that now. I'm not saying we're doing that now.
They're just fluffing up the review and stuff. So
But
because
like, why though? What is that? I
they
don't.
don't have any other words. They have a word quota, or they get paid by the number of words are in their fucking article, or whatever the fuck it is.
Maybe,
Um,
and maybe you just want to sound smart. I don't know. But
or
also
that,
too, because they want to sound like artsy fartsy sometimes. I think too,
right?
because I do
Well, it
think a lot.
sells them on paper because if they make their paper sound really good, or their articles, or whatever their piece they're writing on, they can they can be hired by other companies.
I guess that makes
So that's
sense because I'm not gonna get hired. Yeah, I
yeah,
don't
they're just
use real
fluffing up.
words.
Yeah, they're fluffing up their fucking pieces. That way, the other journalists places can fucking hire them.
It's the same thing I have with English too. Maybe they're just English majors as well. I fucking
They
hate
are.
English majors
A lot of
because
them are.
English is always terrible in like in graduate school. And I never not graduate school, but undergraduate school. Like English is fucking awful because they teach you to be needlessly fluffed. The first thing that they do is like they teach you fluff, which is funny because in like high school, they tell you to get rid of the fluff. They're like, get rid of this fucking fluff, this garbage, this extra. But what they really mean to say is, no, 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 you need to use the right fluff. We need the good words. We need this other fluff. And it's like, that shit's kind of frustrating because that's not how you communicate. Like, I
Right.
get that those words can be more descriptive. Like, saying, oh, that shit was cool as fuck. And then saying, like, oh, shit, it was awesome. Because, like, the way the explosion went, it looked like they were going to fall off the building. But then they fucking did a backflip and that shit was cool. So that you can obviously add more to your description. But a lot of those words they use don't help them describe the situation that they're discussing any better than cool. You know what I mean? Like when you start doing this whole fucking monologue about yeah, like the as the subtle embrace of the music crescendo into this and this and this, I thought back to my childhood, and now I was like, Jesus Christ, shut up. No, that doesn't help me understand what you're trying to say anymore. It just adds a bunch of fucking fluff. And that's why I think if you guys like our reviews, hopefully that's why you're still here, is I don't do that shit. I mean, George don't do that shit. We don't do that shit. Like, but we can get deep. It's not like we have an inability to discuss things in a meaningful way or to describe what we're thinking. But it's not superfluous. Is that's the, we don't do it in such a superfluous manner.
There you go.
With these exaggerated words. But anyway, short story long. This is a long one. I don't know what I'm on. I'm fucking on one today, dude. I've been working out again too, so I guess I have a little more energy. I did have some caffeine too. I've been cutting back caffeine to once, maybe twice a week. So it's definitely, maybe I had some caffeine today. I've been working out, so you're getting a lot more energy than you guys have in a long time. But yeah, so that whole artsy-fartsy scene, I thought it was cool, pretty exciting. But I'd love to probably, if you guys have thoughts and opinions on how that changed your fucking life and how, like, deep and emotional it was, please leave it in the comments and help me understand if you're those artsy-fartsy types. Because it's not that, if by now, if you haven't realized, it's not if I'd ever say something to shit on you. Go ahead.
You got something? No, it seemed like it cut out for a second.
Oh, gotcha. But yeah, it's not to shit on you guys. It's just, I don't understand it, and a lot of times it is fucking superfluous, or sometimes I'm going to stand by what I'm saying, but if you can help me understand differently, then sure. I'm all for it, you know what I mean? Because I think that's the whole point, is if you sound stupid or outrageous or exaggerating, then I want to know why. And if it is something as simple as, well, I wanted to sound smart, shit, then do you. If it gets you your peers' admiration, and it does make you sound smart, then keep doing it. You know, that's kind of the thing, too. This is a side story about just motivation and how people should strive to be in their life anyway. If you like something and it gets you whatever, then fucking do it. Because there's reviewers like that who talk in that way who have millions of views, and they're famous as fuck, and everyone thinks they're the smartest guy in the world. And there's probably people out here who think I'm ignorant as fuck and can't actually review a movie because I don't use English words, and I even went as far as to say I fucking hate English and, you know, don't like the way that it's taught in the States anyway, at an undergraduate level. So, you know, sometimes impressions matter. I don't think they should as much, but sometimes that matters. So definitely always put your best foot forward if that's what you feel like you should do. Anyway, but moving on. The driver, the fucking he wanted to be a hero. He pulls the shotgun, he cocked and pumped it. I said, "Yo, the fucking driver!" And then Flag took it from him and said, "No, I don't think so." I said,
"That was funny."
But then he came in the building anyway. That shit was great. I said, "I don't think so." And then when they're all rushing the building, I saw the driver. I said, "He made it. What's he doing in there? His stupid little shit. You're not supposed to be there." That shit was awesome. And then the fucking King Shark made Peacemaker his own little bomb.
That was funny.
Oh my god.
Yes, he said, "What are you doing?"
It doesn't even look like me. I said, "No, you better tell him you're sorry and tell him that thank you for the nice fucking gift you made me, you stupid shit." Oh my god. That shit was good. But then there's just mostly them exploring. Explosion happens, they fall. Oh yeah, the dude. The fucking dude. When they're like there. Milton.
Yeah.
He said, "Fuck, man. Fucking Milton's dead." Who?
Who?
Milton.
Who's
I don't...
Milton?
That shit was funny as fuck, dude. Milton, he's been with us the whole time, and I was like, yeah. Then she comes around. Oh, Milton. That okay.
I love towards the end of the movie whenever she says, "Okay, Milton," to fucking Bloodsport, whatever his name is.
Bro, yes, because she thought it was him. Because when she turned the corner,
we had a whole conversation about how your name is Milton.
Right.
No, we did it
because it was them three in the place together. Like, oh, my
I understand where she got confused, but
right, because he wasn't dead. He was like, Milton's dead. He was clearly not dead. So how the fuck did she think she? But that's still funny though. That's almost on brand for her character. So I'm cool. That shit's fucking hilarious. My favorite though is, when did this love affair with Milton start? At the beginning, I just thought he was really cute, or some shit. He said some shit like
really
that.
Cool. I just didn't want to say anything.
Oh my god! I was like, it's a real love affair. Holy, Because he said it the same way you would talk to any of your bros, like, who are non-gay. It's like, okay, when the fuck did you just fall in love with Milton, huh? Like, we would just say that normally
Right.
to, like, a straight
Funny.
dude. But the fact that
Yeah.
he answered and was like, I mean, I don't know, I really liked him since the beginning. I was like, bro, he's actually gay and love that dude? What the fuck? That was, like, the funniest reveal. That shit was awesome. But dude, then we get the basement. I think the Peacemaker reveal.
Yeah.
That shit was really good. The fucking
Peacemaker's actual fucking
the motivation.
job. Yeah, his actual job. Yeah.
That shit was, and it's so on brand for the character too, and that's what's fucked. And like, I didn't see it coming, to be honest, like at all.
Right.
But then as soon as it happened, I said, God fucking damn it!
I
said,
love that he
course.
didn't want to kill Flag. But he said it earlier. He doesn't care who he has to kill to keep the peace. That's what he said. It was,
Yep.
I love peace with all my heart, and I don't care how many men, women, and children I have to kill. Yeah, to keep.
Yes, he said, even a fucking war hero like you.
Right.
What do you say? It's
God.
worth more than anyone's life, even a war hero like you. Or I said, God damn.
Yeah. Right. Oh, it's such
But
a
he
good
wasn't
character.
wrong though. That's what fucked me up. Is when he said that shit. He said that's not allowed to get out. If that gets out, it'll be a national incident. It'll be this. It'll be that. It'll cause civil unrest, and that's not worth the peace or some shit. And I was like, God fucking damn it, he's right.
He's wrong. People
No,
need
he's
to know.
right.
No, the people need to know.
If the people find what is that, George? Tell me right now. Tell me right now what they're gonna do
Oh,
constructively.
they're gonna panic. They're gonna panic. They're gonna be mad. They're gonna be mad at the government.
Riots?
People are gonna riot. 100%.
Civil war.
Yeah.
Maybe even an overthrow of the government, which causes half the civilians to die in a crazy
but
shit, which turns into a dictatorship.
The people deserve to know what the government has been doing.
Not at the cost. No, there won't be a government. Like,
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
that's fucked up. No, that's like not
Well,
good.
The government should stop doing shit like that. That could cause the fucking people to rebel.
Now they weren't necessarily trying to weaponize it. They were just trying to experiment. They were just trying to see what.
No,
he
they're
did.
weaponizing it. Shut the fuck up.
No. If they were gonna do that, they would have already done it. It'd been 30 years. Think about how many wars they had since then. They have fucking Superman and on nukes and all kinds of shit.
Yeah, that's why they haven't used it yet. It's a secret.
But they don't need it.
They don't know if they need it or not yet.
No, I think they were probably doing like more just experiments to understand it.
No, they weren't.
I'll give you a 60-40, okay? 60 experiment, 40 maybe weaponize. How about that?
How about 60-40 the other way?
No! I want to believe, okay? I think
I don't believe.
You're probably right, but I want to believe. But I do think that, like, in real life, I would definitely have to side with Peacemaker. Like, it's just like you can't do that shit because there's literally gonna be how many tens of thousands, maybe millions of people who would die in like fucking riots and a war
True.
and overthrowing the government.
True.
And, like,
Yeah.
and then you might even get invaded, right? Because as soon as we have like civil
Yes.
war and everything gets
Yes.
fucked up, China comes knocking on our doorstep, Russia comes knocking on the doorstep and says, "Hey, I notice you're weak as fuck and don't even have a government anymore because you fucked yourself."
Yep.
It'd be a shame if I took over.
Yeah.
And now we're fighting on all fronts. And now it's like
Yeah.
shit's
That's why
close
it's
to a downfall.
complicated. That's why the government should stop doing shit like that. Because they're killing their own citizens to try to keep it hidden.
Oh, so you think? But I mean, yeah. So let me think of this. Like, so you think that? How would you
The
approach
fear,
it in the beginning?
the way I'm looking at it is the government should be fearful of doing something that would make people rebel against them, so they shouldn't be doing it.
Right. Okay. Now my next
Yeah.
question would be: when they found the starfish, what do? You found it, and it killed all your dudes in the space station. What do you do?
We set it back in space.
You think so?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
Or give it to Superman. Let Superman take it back to space.
I was gonna say, how do you know, like, if it goes back to space, if it won't turn around and come back and kill everyone, right? That we don't, because it's shown to be hostile. It's like showing, like, you know what I mean? Like, we know that it's gonna fucking kill you.
Kill it.
You think we just blow up the whole thing?
Yeah, we just kill it. If Harley Quinn and the rest of the fucking and a bunch of rats can kill it, I think the U.S. government can kill it.
Right. No, they probably could at least, like, it seemed like bullets didn't work, but then she jumps in it with a javelin in the eyeball.
It was the eyeball,
So I'm thinking, like, but they shot the eyeball with bullets, even like some explosive bullets, like grenades.
but it was a magic javelin.
I don't think was it magic. I think it might have. Yeah, maybe it might have been magic. I don't know.
I don't know.
But and I thought maybe though it's because like the bullets maybe were just like in the water because she just went in the eyeball, but nothing happened.
Right.
It wasn't until the rats started chewing on his fucking like neurons and shit. So I think that maybe that's what's happening. Like the bullets were in there, they impacted, but they just got stuck in the goo. So maybe that's what happened. But yeah, you can definitely like put a nuke or something. I don't know, not a nuke, but like we have weapons. Probably could have killed him. And obviously, when he was on the space station, we could have just blew the fucking space station up, you know.
Right.
But I guess yeah, the idea that we wanted more power or something. But what if you just admit to the world, hey, we found a fucking giant robe or giant starfish, and we're gonna go experiment on it?
That's fine. That's better than trying to hide it and killing people whenever whenever they find out about it.
Right. Because now maybe other countries will know that you have it, and maybe that causes a panic against the nation. But they don't trust anybody anyway. It's no different than like, oh, like China found out that we have a giant starfish. Now they're gonna be angry. Motherfucker, they know we already have newts and Superman, and they already got all this shit.
Right.
It's not like they fucking care, they're already trying to kill us anyway.
They have their own Superman.
I don't know the relationship between China specifically in the universe, but no, I know like Russia's not friends.
Yeah.
So it's not like the countries are on good terms anyway. So yeah, maybe admitting to people that they found it. And I thought, well, that storyline makes more sense in our world because that shit's not real. So if it is,
Right.
it's fucking like finding aliens. You don't talk about this shit because you'll cause a fucking panic and like people like they'll fucking really freak out. So I think
we know nowadays that people won't freak out if their government just says, "Oh, we found aliens" or some shit.
Maybe I think so. They don't. No one takes it serious.
Yeah, I think
they've announced stuff like
at this point we're expecting aliens. We want aliens, so we wouldn't be in a panic. Like it's completely different from 1950s America, where we were like aliens. Oh no! But now we're like, yay, aliens!
Right. Well, I think it was because it was more deep-seated like religious views. I think a lot of those were more prevalent. The farther back you go,
or it was just xenophobia, or just we were just terrified of anything.
Well, think about the idea that it challenges your entire beliefs, right?
Because there's still religious people. There's still like I think like 70% of the globe is religious still.
Interesting.
And in Europe, religion is viewed very differently than in the States. Like in Europe, people are still deeply religious, even if they believe in all the stuff that's supposedly anti-religious, like fucking evolution and Big Bang theory and all that stuff.
Oh, so it's become more progressive.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. So maybe that's what I'm saying is the farther back in time you go, the less progressive it was.
Right.
And that would lead to a mass panic because it would be like, oh shit, if aliens are real, that means fundamentally all the things I believed about the universe are false and my entire understanding of my own existence has been challenged. Right. That's a scary thought. So if the vast majority of people were thinking in that fashion, then that's going to cause civil unrest, right? Mm-hmm. So then that's like, but nowadays, if things are becoming more progressive, if not less religious or whatever, then now it's like that sort of understanding is not going to be as shocking.
Yeah.
So it won't cause as much unrest, I think, is sort of the idea that I've got. Again, I'm not a scientist. I'm not a religious expert. I'm not a sociologist. I don't know all these things for fact. But I think that makes the most sense.
We're just using some bro logic.
Right, and I think that's most of the time pretty solid logic,
Yeah.
Because if you look at people's tendencies and people's trends,
it sounds convincing enough.
Right, because I mean they did the same thing with the center of the universe is the sun, right?
Right.
The Earth is the center of the universe. It caused panic. Like they killed him. Well, I think they didn't kill him immediately. I think they.
I don't know if it caused panic. I'm pretty sure it just made the religious the church mad, and they didn't kill him. They locked him away, and I think he died from starvation or something, or
the same
malnutrition, or malnutrition or something.
They might as well have killed him.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean, though. So it caused even the church to freak out because it challenged everything they believed about the world.
Was it Galileo?
I think so. That or Newton. Yeah. Maybe not Newton. I don't know.
No, it wasn't Newton. I think Newton proved Galileo's theory, but I think Galileo was one who first. Yeah, but go on.
But yeah, so like if you look at stuff like that in history, some things that challenge fundamentally the mass belief system can be very dangerous.
Right.
So I think that's why you see how many religious wars there have been over time because you believe something different, even something simple. It's like now I have to kill you because it challenges my belief, kind of thing. So it's dangerous. I think it's a very dangerous topic, which is why, obviously, in the States and stuff, they try pretty much to separate all that stuff from like church and state and stuff like that. But let's see, moving on. So yeah, Peacemaker, fuck man, that shit was crazy. I'm kind of like believing him. Dude, when they fucking fought, and as soon as he shot the bullet, I said, motherfucker, I guarantee. I said that bullet's smaller than the other one, and they got closer and closer. I said he's gonna kill him with the smaller bullet.
That shit
Oh
was
my
funny.
god, that shit was
He
beautiful.
said, "How smaller bullets?"
He killed him with the own thing he bragged about in the beginning. That
Yeah.
shit was cool. Do you know what he never got? I said because one thing again back to why I was really upset with the movie in the beginning and like I didn't like a lot of the stuff that was happening. Part of the wacky random bullshit that makes me disassociate with the movie when he looks, he says everyone I see is my mom, and it showed
Yeah.
all the characters with his mom's face modeled on them.
Yeah.
I did not like that shit. I did not like it. I was like Sam I am. I didn't like it. Sam I am. I did not like that shit because it just was annoying and weird. I was like, okay, I get it, but like that's just weird and wacky. But for what purpose? And it also seems nonsensical, right?
Right.
But by the end of the movie, I was like, they better show the starfish as his mom. I really want to see the starfish as his mom, and I was like waiting for it. So,
Yeah.
but then they just showed the mom. It wasn't a starfish mom like they did like the amalgamation in the beginning.
Yeah.
I was like, do the amalgamation. I want to see a starfish mom, but we didn't show it. We just showed.
Well, each time they did it, it didn't just have her head on those characters. It was literally his mom.
No. But in the beginning, like it showed Sharkman. It was him, but it was like a shark beast, but it had her face. Maybe they were just wearing so much clothes, because they were still wearing the same outfits and everything.
Yeah, because I was when he was like fucking when he was at the party and all those girls were dancing with him. It was his mom. They were all fat girls. It wasn't.
But they were
it wasn't-
different though, because like the one was like short and like
They were wearing their clothes, and some of them were shorter. Yeah, but
and they had
were
different
still-
haircuts and different teeth and everything.
Oh, they had the same haircuts.
No, they didn't have the same haircuts because the one shorter one that was in the front of the scene, I think she had like a fro, almost reminded me of the guy. What's his name from Always Sunny? Fucking short fat guy, Danny DeVito.
Yeah.
One of them reminded me of Danny DeVito. One in the back was taller with like straight hair. I think.
No,
But-
she had the same haircut in every single person's. But I will say the shark one definitely was still a shark body, but everyone else was just her, a the same actress, just wearing those characters' clothes.
Huh. Maybe it was just the clothes then that made it like enough for me. And like the
Yeah.
height differences and stuff. Because like definitely I thought they were a little bit different. And also too the biggest one that stuck out to me in the original scene was the shark.
Yeah.
So that may
That
have
makes
been
sense.
sort of like an impression of like, oh shit. I kind of glanced at all the others.
I will say, yeah, when he was at the party, he definitely had one that still had the beard and the mustache.
Mhm.
Even though even though he was picturing them as his mom.
So maybe there was some subtle changes, but not as much as I was like thinking.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I guess that wasn't a huge deal, but I did think it was funny. This is what I said at the beginning of the video, that this movie got me by the end.
Yeah.
There was even little shit like that by the end. I'm like, motherfucker, let me see this stupid starfish as his mom. Like, why am I waiting for that? Why is that like funny all of a sudden when I didn't like it throughout the entirety of the movie? Even the scene in the dance club, I didn't think it was funny. I said, I get it, haha. But it wasn't good. But somehow it got me. Even the characters' relationships, all of them. Like, no, especially definitely Rat Girl and fucking Shark King. Those, they're too good. Harley's always good.
Right.
Flag is forgettable, but then he died, and I was really sad. He also had like a backseat in this movie, which isn't a bad thing. But maybe they could have done it like a little differently. Maybe, yeah. And John Cena's fucking hilarious because of how stupid he is.
Right.
And then I do like what's his name? Yeah, they're just really good actors and really good characters. That's how they get me. The dialogue was all pretty good. The action was the action was fucking cool. All the action scenes were awesome, but not way too over the top or too lengthy.
How'd you feel about Amanda Waller's fucking under her fucking staff that fucking betrayed her whenever
Oh
they,
yeah, when they fucking hit that bitch with a pipe.
yeah.
Holy! I did not see that shit coming because she was gonna kill him. I said, "You can't, you stupid bitch!" I thought she would have a change of heart,
Right.
and I love that she didn't.
She can't have a change of heart.
That evil bitch did not have a change because she asked in the beginning, or no, dude asked. He's like, "You wouldn't really send his daughter to prison, right? You'd be surprised the things I'm willing to do."
If they make another Suicide Squad in the DC Gunverse, I want to see her fight because she is a bad bitch in
Hell
the comics. She can hold her own.
That shit was good though. Yeah, when they fucking hit the bitch with a pipe and then like she got knocked out. I like that. Now, one thing I did like too is they didn't actually um, uh, she didn't fire all those people or kill them. I think she probably would have just killed them since they know too much.
Yeah.
I was expecting that. She didn't retaliate against them.
Yeah, I was a little upset by that. I was like, she wouldn't do anything after getting hit in the back of the head.
Right. That was
Yeah,
a little bit weird. But I
yeah,
also
that
think though it's
pulled me out of the way.
because she's still taking stock of the situation.
Right.
Because we see almost immediately, we don't know how long she was out, but she gets a call from what's his name, and she's still holding her head in her office. That wasn't even 10, 20 minutes. How long did they have that fight for? If 20, if
Hmm.
that. So like she probably was knocked out the whole time. So she's still taking stock of what happened, and then she gets a call. As soon as she wakes up, she's probably wondering what the fuck happened, where are the people, and where's my information. So then he immediately says, I got that shit on a secret drive. We're all going free, and you're not going to do shit to my family or whatever. Like, pretty much getting his agreement from her.
Right.
So
Yeah.
she may have been so busy with that agreement that she didn't give a fuck about the staff. You know what I mean? Like, there's more pressing issues than her staff hitting her to save a bunch of people.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of what happened. Is like she didn't have enough time to like deal with them because she's immediately now having to deal with the fact that this dude is now taking advantage of her. I like that shit though. She said, "Yeah, I told you I'd turn you into a leader." I said, "Damn, you got what you wanted for, bitch."
Yeah.
And it's super cool. He got the leg up on her. I like that a lot because you get your fucking just desserts, you stupid ass bitch. Um, but I don't know where it's going to turn out. Obviously, she can always get more villains. She can always get more
Right.
people. So that's what
Right.
makes it kind of cool. Is that even though they had a success story, um, there's like more. Also, dude, a fucking side thing that got me, but in the stupid fish fight or the starfish fight.
Yeah.
Sebastian was running as like the first rat on the giant monster. Bro, my fucking heart. When I seen him running up there, I said, "You better not die. Why are you up there? You're supposed to stay with her the whole time. Those are fodder rats. You're different." Holy shit. Oh, I like their
Do you notice?
backstory.
Oh, okay.
We didn't touch on that. The backstory with the dad.
Yeah.
She said, "Why rats, Papa?" He said, "Because rats are the worthless, most nasty, dirty creature that everyone hates. And if rats can have purpose, so can we." Whew. God damn it, that got me.
Her dad was Korg's voice actor.
It was who?
He's Korg from the Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's funny. I liked
Taika
Korg so much when he was first introduced,
Yeah.
and then they just oversaturated the fuck out of him.
I definitely don't. Ah, man, that new fucking movie. When it spoilers. Not gonna say it.
Right? That's the Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's well. Maybe we'll do that one day. But yeah, I got not as strong opinions as everyone else on that one, but definitely some. We'll have to get there.
I think it's fine. I just
Yeah,
I
same.
was expecting so much better.
Right. I think they took a different direction, and that
Yeah.
direction wasn't necessarily one I was happy with,
Yeah.
but it wasn't a bad direction, I guess I could say.
Did you notice who Polka Dot Man was? The character you like.
His face looks familiar. But
He's
he looks
in
like,
Ant-Man.
he looks like some kind of like German scientist
He's
or
the
Russian
he's
scientist.
the Russian he's the Russian ex-con in Ant-Man 1 and 2.
Bro, it's the guy. Yeah. It's in the group.
Baba Yaga.
This is the Baba Yaga. Oh my god, that shit was funny when he's describing like the fucking shit. Oh man, that's funny. I didn't notice it was the guy. Now I can see it very clearly, but his face does look pretty familiar.
He's in the Dark Knight as well, but he's a minor random character.
Oh, he was one that was like freaked out, right? And he was like, shaking him.
He was the one that was being interrogated by Harvey Dent.
Yeah. I remember that now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can see it definitely. But yeah, King Shark's alive. Thank God. That shit. When he came walking up, I said, "Thank fucking God."
I'm surprised they killed Polka Dot Man. He said, "I'm a superhero." Then, bah!
Right, because then he finally got like, I think he was like getting over his mom trauma too.
Yeah.
See, shit like that is what I mean too. And they did follow through with their stupid wacky bullshit. It's
Yeah,
stuff
it was
like that like I don't like about movies like this, because
Yeah, they played his thing as a joke, his death.
right. And when he did get like his moment, they can do that with anybody. That's why I was so fucking mad before it was over, like waiting for it. I was like, God damn it, King Shark better not die, and the fucking stupid little rat better not die. Like I'm like mad preemptively because I know that they're gonna do some wacky bullshit and kill somebody at the end for like wow factor. And I guess if you're gonna do it to any character, he was sort of the least impactful at the movie.
Yeah.
Um, so I guess that's fine. He didn't get as much screen time or as much
I didn't. I
personality.
didn't. I didn't. I didn't like how they did my boy Boomer. I fucking love Boomer.
Bro, the fucking the boomerang.
Yeah.
That shit was. It glows in this one. So are they super boomerangs now? I mean, I always knew that they were kind of super, but they didn't really like. It was ambiguous in the
Maybe he
first
has
one.
maybe he has like batarangs and like he has special boomerangs.
Maybe they gave
Uh,
him actual equipment this one.
maybe.
Because obviously, a man who can always throw a boomerang and it chops your head off and always comes back with enough momentum, that's already fake. But like
Yeah.
it was never shown. It was one of those ambiguous, is that super or not kind of thing. But then in
He's
this
never
one,
he's
he
never been
glows.
super in the comics. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure he's just a dude who's really good with the boomerang.
Right. So when he had these new fancy glowing boomerangs, I'm like, so is he like charging those or something? I don't know, but not important. Um,
Right.
I think that's all I had though. Actually, with most of my notes. I don't know if we missed anything. Um,
I'm pretty sure we didn't.
it's good though. It's still a solid movie. I think though, let's go back to the beginning, I guess, and
Pete
dive in.
David. The Pete Davidson coming out whenever the team one first landed, and he was like, I'm the guy who called. I'm the guy who called you guys. Who told you about this? Do you have any thoughts about that?
I didn't like it because it was still a part of the stupid intro scene. Now,
Yeah.
when he first did it, I was like, "Oh shit, this motherfucker sold him out." But then I was like, immediately after, how? I was like, "How the
Uh,
fuck does he have contact with this government?"
well, remember the first team one was a distraction, so it's like it's kind of collectively agreed upon that Amanda somehow pretended to accidentally lose a communicator or something, and he contacted them like it was part of her plan.
Oh yeah, I knew that
Uh,
much, but we didn't
yeah.
know that in the beginning.
Yeah, but it's just kind of agreed upon by the by everyone who's seen the movie,
Oh
rather
yeah, no,
than
I agreed, 100%. I already pretty much thought that was a fact.
yeah,
That in the
right,
beginning it was like what the fuck? How would he have got a hold of them? And then as soon
yeah,
as she says it's a diversion, no need to worry about it. I'm like, this bitch. She just let
right,
him talk to them. So he would,
right.
and I was like, this motherfucker, right? But then what makes me sad though is like, she would have just let Harley run in and die as well. And I
Well,
was
she don't
like,
give a fuck about
obviously,
Harley either.
or Boomer too. So like, there was, obviously the stupid my arms detached guy. Yeah, get fucked. This bouncing ball guy. I don't know what he did. Sure, get fucked. The weasel. Sure, get fucked. This javelin guy. Maybe he would have been cool. Um, the weird orange lady. Maybe she seems like she could be powerful and pretty useful to the team. Um,
You don't like the detachable kid,
I mean, no, not really.
but
His
he has chop powers.
his now that's kind of cool, and I guess if it's like not in the situation it was in, maybe it would have been cool because they turned them all into just stupid ass jokes.
Right,
And that's
they
also
did.
why I don't like the scene as well, is because it was all just a fucking like intro to turn all of them into dumbass jokes.
Right,
But I didn't understand though the ones that weren't throwaways. Like, why are you sending throwaway people to die? Sure, that makes a lot of sense. You would just waste your weak guys, but you got to make it believable enough for the bad guys. But maybe that's why she did it. She had to send at least a
We gotta
couple
say,
that
yeah,
were.
Flag's a bad apple. He's betrayed her in the first movie. Harley Quinn has escaped, and she like twice, and she's a bad apple. She fucking escaped with the Joker, and then in the first movie, she found a way to get to deactivate her shock collar or explosive collar, and then fucking got away.
Oh yeah, she
Uh,
did. Even after Joker left her, she went away again.
yeah,
So that's
and then
before a Harley Quinn movie.
yeah, all this before Harley Quinn movie.
Oh, okay, so she had broken out again by the time Harley Quinn and Birds of Prey
Well, she broke
happens.
out at the end of the first Suicide Squad.
Did she? Oh yeah, because Joker
Yeah,
came to save her.
yeah,
So then they break up, and then what about Birds of Prey by then?
yeah. Birds of Prey happens next, and then she gets arrested again. At the beginning of
Oh,
this movie, she mentioned she got arrested,
okay, yeah, yeah. I
and then
remember that now.
yeah, and Boomer.
He
I don't
never
know.
left.
Yeah, he never left. She just like I guess doesn't like Boomer. I don't know.
Maybe he's
Maybe
kind of a
his
dickhead.
sentence was almost up, and she never actually wanted to make good on the promise. And then, oops, he
Yes,
died in the line of duty.
that makes a lot of sense.
Right,
So yeah, that makes sense why she would have thrown a couple of them away.
right.
But yeah, like, that's fucked up. But yeah, I could see her trying to get rid of, because you see even by the end of it. Look at by the end, He said, fucking flag. He said, fuck that shit. The people need to know about this. He's definitely not, you know,
Yeah, on
trustworthy.
board with her.
Yeah,
Right.
well,
Yeah.
on her end, you know, as far as because he's trustworthy to like the people, but he's not on board with the shit that she wants. So
Right.
this could have been her way of actually getting rid of him. Um, that makes a lot of sense. Even though she's like, you know, he's not a prisoner. Um,
Right.
she would want to get rid of him. So yeah, I could see why she would pretty much kill all those people on purpose. But back to what we were saying, the original scene, I just thought it was kind of stupid. I was a little shocked though because I didn't know how to take the movie. So when they did just blow his face off, that's the problem too. This is where I can put it onto you on the nose. When he said, "Hey guys, it's me. I'm the one who called you. I set all this shit up. We're good." And I was like, "Oh shit, this motherfucker betrayed him." And I was like, cool with it. And I wanted something to happen because obviously that's what you wanted to see how that plays out. If he gets like asylum with them, but then he dies because they kill him. I don't know, whatever. I want to see how that plays out. If they would have just shot him regular, like two to the chest or something, I would have been
Right.
like, what the fuck? They killed him, but he betrayed them and they betrayed him. What the fuck? Where's this gonna go now? It would be interesting still. The fact that they blew his face off from the side and made this huge spectacle out of it
Yeah.
ruined the fucking tension for the scene. It just completely it made me completely check out mentally of what the fuck was gonna happen next. And I think that's because a scene like that is clearly a joke. Also, the fact that it was Pete Davidson,
Yeah.
I was already on edge. I was like, why the fuck is he here? I was like, he's not the kind of person who I think plays a serious role. This is a joking kind of movie, so I'm not totally off board. But I was like,
Right.
it just doesn't seem right. There's just something wrong. So combined with the character, the cast, who they had acting, and then the fact that they fucking cinematically blew his face off from the side with a bullet, no. It was just over the top for no fucking reason. And I said, okay, here we go. Yep. And then I mentally checked out. And I
Yeah.
don't know. I think that's maybe not fair because with access to new technology, you could say, well, they could just CG any explosive scene and have it be extra gory. But
Yep.
it's wow factor when you
You
see
wanted to
something
do
like
the extra gore anyways because it was they got the rated R because of how it's kind of like a overcorrect because the last movie was forced to be PG-13, so they were trying to overcorrect
I
so
see.
hard. Yeah,
Because like yeah, they chopped out dude's head, they chopped it in
they were
half, and
trying
then
to prove that this is not the last fucking Suicide Squad. We're not going to give you a PG-13 rating. We're giving you this. This is what we're giving you.
right.
Also, it's James Gunn. He loves that shit. And he never got to do that in Guardians. So,
That's funny. But yeah, stuff like that. It's just when you have those scenes, it takes me out of the movie, and maybe that's my fault. But I think a lot of times it's just because I know why they do it. You're talking to me almost like you know what I mean. It's almost like if I'm listening to how the movie's being shot and shown, you're telling
mhm.
me things throughout the cinematography and everything else. So when you do some shit like that, you're telling me, "Hey, go wow, go ooh, go ew, no way." I don't want to go ew, no way, and like turn into a fucking sud dude all of a sudden,
Yeah.
like just because someone got killed because that's not what the scene was setting up. The scene was setting up what the fuck they betrayed this guy like that's not what the scene. You were telling me two different things, you know,
Hmm.
if that makes sense.
I got you.
So I think that's why I don't like stuff like that unless it's been established and it's like in the Saw movies. That's always like something that's it never breaks tension. It never breaks because I'm like, what the fuck? Even before the gore starts, like at least 1, 2, and 3. I'm
I
actually
don't
not.
like it.
Um,
It's a whole different discussion, but yeah, I don't like the excess gore in the Saw movies.
Interesting. I always thought it was
'Cause
in
the
place.
first two, no,
Um,
the first two were nowhere near as gory, and it's
oh
also
well, yeah, that's what I mean. The
it's
first
a
two.
extra additional gore at the expense of like story and character and stuff. Like we don't have as much. There's not as much rich character and story in the later Saw movies. It's
Yeah, no,
all
that's
just
different. I can
gore
agree with
fest.
that 100%.
Yeah,
The later ones suck, but number one specifically. We'll keep it in a vacuum then.
that one wasn't that gory. That was
No,
just
that's what I
literally
mean though. But
it
like the
didn't even
gore
show
that
you the
was,
foot being cut off.
but the gore
Um,
that was there was like good.
yeah,
So like if, for example, if I would have actually saw, dude,
it,
some fucked up
yeah,
shit happen in that movie, I
you actually
wouldn't. It
have a
wouldn't
good.
have broke the tension. It wouldn't have broke the scene. I wouldn't have been like, oh, here we go with the over the top.
Right.
Like you saw Hostel, right?
Yeah.
When she chopped that dude's dick off,
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? It blew me away, but it was still good. Like I liked that. It was like that was enjoyable in the context of the movie because it was still sending the same message that the movie had been sending, which is holy shit, this is fucked up, intense, and like scary, and like you don't want that shit to happen to you. And I was like, no, I don't want that to happen to me. Throughout the whole movie, it's like that's what makes
Right.
it interesting and scary. But for this movie, they weren't setting up those tones. So I think when you do make that gap to extra gore, it's like, what the fuck? And it's just wow factor. And I'm gonna bring this up again, like the same thing, like when they chopped the dude's dick off in that one movie I was talking about with the guys from Workaholics. They
Yeah.
chop his dick off and they start throwing it around the room. The movie up until that point had no basis in that zone. It had
Right.
wacky, stupid comedy, but it wasn't like that. That was over the top and unnecessary for what they were going for. It was a different brand of comedy almost, and it's sort of that wow factor that's cheap. I think maybe that's the word I'm looking for. Cheap. When you do
Mhm.
something like big and over the top, like you chopped fucking Boomer's head in half, why? I get that he died, but when you go the extra mile and put all the CG and all the special effects and everything to show his head being chopped in fucking half and the brains and the goo and everything, why do you do that? You're showing it for a reason. You're trying to get me to go, whoa! And I'm not impressed by cheap throws like that, like a lot of people are. And then maybe that's like sounds arrogant. I don't mean to say it that way. If that's what you like, it's what you like, you know. That's not the shit on that, because I still love action movies. Fucking put me in a car chase, dude, I'm all for it.
Right.
The same fucking car chase I've seen 100 times. So
Right.
whatever you like is what you like. Go ahead.
No, I was saying right. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
It's if you like that, you like that. So
right. And that's for me. That's like a personal thing. So if that scene was super awesome to you and the intro was great and it gets you excited, because I think that's what they were trying to do, right? Let's get you excited. Let's get these fuckers out of their seats for what they can expect in this movie. And I think that's a really good.
it also
way to
kind
do
of
it.
establishes that Waller's men, even though they do help save the world at the end of the movie, they're still pieces of shit because they were betting on who's gonna live and who's gonna die. Um,
That shit was funny. He said nothing here. We're just having a meeting, just a regular
Right.
Monday meeting.
right.
Which makes me think she didn't know about it. I'm like, why the fuck would she care? She'd probably be in on the bets.
She's all seriousness.
Maybe it's true though. She's just fucking
Don't
by the
play.
book,
Yeah.
which makes her character even better. Because she's
Right.
not a bitch because she wants to be or needs to be
She's
or
a
I guess she needs
bitch
to be.
because she needs to be to
Right,
protect the U.S. government and her interests.
right. It's just a
Um,
part of the job. She doesn't enjoy
right.
it.
Exactly.
It would show that she enjoyed it if she was a part of
Also,
the
like,
bets.
how many times does she give people warnings and she doesn't want to fucking blow up their heads because they're an asset, right?
It's true. 3 times. She told him 3 or 4 times. Turn
Yeah.
around. It was a long-haired dude. Turn around.
'Cause if she
Turn
really didn't give
around.
a fuck, she'd just blow them up immediately.
Right. So that does
Without
make
even fucking
sense.
telling them to turn around.
So she's not doing any of these things because she either enjoys it or anything else. It's about the mission, bottom line.
Right.
That's interesting. That makes her character even better, I think. But that's why we rave about the character. But it's good that you mentioned that because we've mentioned throughout the previous, hour or so about how we love how good the character is, but that's one of those things that if we don't say it explicitly may get lost in translation because yeah, that's one of those subtle things that needs to be talked about when it comes to good characters and bad characters, and oftentimes it's hard to do so without a comparison. This is why every reviewer you seems like you ever would listen to is say, "Oh yeah, if we look at this movie compared to this one, this is why this one sucks." Because if you don't have a point of reference, it's hard to identify these things because you're just enjoying them. You don't know that they're there because it's just always been there until it's not. So if we have a character in the next movie, for example, who's like the evil shit, but it seems like they enjoy these things, or they're jumping the gun, or they were like foaming at the mouth to blow their heads off, we would have no respect for them. They'd be like, yeah, fuck that. They're just an evil shithead. Whereas if you ask a lot of people about her, it'd be like, oh yeah, she's fucking awesome. You know what I mean? It's like, what? How can you like that character? She has no redeemable qualities. But it's like, she does. She takes her
Yeah.
job very seriously. That's redeemable quality, is taking your job seriously and taking yourself seriously as a person. And she's been shown to be not merciful, but willing to compromise. So she's not just soulless or unbudging, about some of these things.
Right.
And those nuances are what make a character, I think, interesting. Because you can make a one-dimensional character, a strict leader, or whatever. You can do all these things. But if these small subtleties don't exist, then the character becomes less interesting. And it's like I mentioned before with Harley Quinn or Batman or Joker. I didn't mention Batman, but Like Joker is very uninteresting when he becomes one-dimensional. I'm just crazy.
Right.
It's like cool, he's crazy. But when he adds those little details, those quicks, those quirks or whatever, those are what you can identify as like, wait, he showed this behavior. It's like all this other behavior, sure, crazy. But this other behavior right here, what the fuck is that about? Is he deep? Is he nuanced? Why would he do that? And then it gives thought to the character and gives depth. So same thing for her. That's one of the reasons she's so good. So, and that's same thing for Harley Quinn. I went on the whole rant earlier about why I think Harley Quinn was, so much better now and so much more of a complex character. So, same thing. Even fucking King Shark, little King Shark. Why I like his character so much more than any other just stupid, dumb, me smash character. It's because of the nuance they showed him. He wants to have friends. He wants to be smart. He doesn't know how to read, but he's trying his fucking hardest. Why would you do that? Why are you trying to read? Like, think about that question. If you were to ask him, why are you trying to read? I don't know. It'd be interesting to find out. But those other characters who don't have that nuance or that depth, they don't read. They don't do anything. They don't want to join in with like the little things. They don't want to have friends necessarily, or maybe they do. Most big brooding guys at least say, "You, my friend." That's
Right.
usually that's pretty of a trope, a pretty tropey right there. But I think the more nuance you can add to that character that shows they're not just one-dimensional or just whatever the fuck, it makes them more enjoyable. It makes them a lot more likable, and that's usually a bad character in so many movies that doesn't show any of that. That becomes like a plot device or whatever else.
Yeah.
Makes their motivations hard to understand. I think it's too. Look at like Man versus Steel. I think that was one of our biggest complaints in Man versus Steel, wasn't it?
What, the Superman?
The Batman. My biggest complaint was
Oh.
Batman. How he didn't have depth. He was just this fucking, I'm angry and I hate you. He was very one dimensional.
Yeah,
But I can't
but
remember exactly.
he had reasoning.
So I think that kind of thing is not as good,
It
right?
wasn't built up enough. All his reasoning and like why he was the way he was. I know they understand. Hey, you understand Batman. You know who Batman is, and they didn't want to explain all that.
Right.
Um, but
It is necessary for the context of the movie,
right,
or for the context of not the movie, the context of the character.
yeah,
Like if I didn't get my man reading a book, if I didn't get King Shark reading a book in the beginning, it wouldn't mean as much later on, and I don't know why. Just that little scene makes, or when he's sitting there and he fucking raises his hand, they're doing the mission
Woo.
brief, and he was like raises his hand. Yes,
and
hand. Very good. He was so happy, George. He was really like, yeah, I did that. I contributed to the mission. I raised my hand. God damn it, that shit's so adorable. Like shit like that, it I know it's not groundbreaking, so he's not a good comparison for someone like Batman, but it's if anybody is listening, can you still follow what I'm saying here? Is like that those sort of comparisons, I think, or what I'm trying to make is that like the details, the little details of what make your character have depth or give you an idea of who they are as a person. That's what it is. I know now, at least based off those lines, if I'm assuming that those lines are consistent with his character, that he didn't just do it as a one-off or a joke, I know that he's a nice guy. I know that he wants to be intelligent, that maybe he doesn't want to be a big, brooding, I go kill everything, right? They've
right,
established that. They've taught me about this character, what he likes and doesn't like, and who he wants to be as a person within two scenes. Like 15-second scenes of reading a book and then the hand-raising scene. That was it. And now I know a lot more about this character, which is why when he was trying to eat that chick, even she was like, no. And I was like, yeah, no way. Why would he do that? He's a really good guy. And then I thought about it. I was like, I don't even know if he's a good guy. I just made that assumption. I don't even know this fucker.
they mentioned he killed like 30 children or something like that. No, that was Weasel.
Yeah. And right, so, but like, I'm thinking to myself, like, what the fuck? I guess he's not a good guy. I thought he was a good guy. And then she has the conversation with him, and I'm like, see, he is a good guy. But if you don't get that, then you don't get that, and you don't know that. You're just shown whatever overblown actions that they do. And just bring it back to square one, so make sure this all sounds cohesive. Bringing it back to Waller. If all you saw was, I'm a bitch, blow his head off, right? And that's all you saw. I'll send your fucking little girl to prison. Fuck you, I hate you, do what I want. If that's all we ever saw, then get fucked. That character now has no depth. All we know about her motivations is she's an angry bitch who wants to kill people and then fucking make the world or make USA. Oh, excuse me, make the world more rich or make the USA more rich, right?
Right.
That's all we get. We don't get anything else. But those little scenes we do get, now we know who she is as a person, right? Like you said, when she's like telling them multiple times, "Don't do that shit. I don't want to have to kill you." Well, she didn't say I don't want to have to, but it's implied she didn't want to have to.
Right.
When she sees them making all the bets and she doesn't join it and they have to hide it from her. Why do they have to hide making bets on that from her? Because then it looks like they're unprofessional. It makes it like they're not here for the mission. That if someone were to like have the mission be compromised, they would let it happen because they want to win their bet. That's dangerous. That's like insubordination kind of thing, level stuff that could happen from that. So you can tell that adds to her motivations and her understanding of her as a character. And those are the things in a movie that are much harder to do. That's why some movie characters fucking suck. Because you don't have but a limited amount of time. So you have to find this perfect way to show these little scenes that tell me who they are as a person, tell me their values, tell me their goals, tell me their preferences, their likes, their dislikes, all that shit. You have to pretty much tell me everything that I need to know about a character in seconds while not disrupting the flow of the entire movie. And that's not easy to do. So to make sure that's clear, that's not something I'm saying, yeah, movies should just do good. No, if it was fucking easy, everybody would do it. And sometimes it's easier to do so. I think that sometimes it just falls in your lap. Like I think Waller's character, it kind of just falls in your lap. Because there's a non-zero chance they didn't mean to write this depth into her character. Let's be honest. Like there is I'd say even a pretty likely chance that they weren't thinking about the nuance of her character when they were like when she was walking by and they were placing the bets. It was probably not about her at all. When the writer was doing that, they were probably like, "Oh yeah, let's put a scene where she's the scary boss lady. Yeah, she's scary boss lady." They may have even been going for one-dimensional, to be honest. But now we can interpret that in a different way. Because it's not just angry boss lady was what the writer was going for, but what we saw was she would not approve of the bets because it's unprofessional and it may compromise the mission later on. That's important.
I know you hate literary dudes and fucking the English majors and shit. There's actually a word for that. I can't remember
where it falls
right
in
now.
your lap.
Where something like is unintended by the author, but it definitely could be interpreted a different way.
There's a lot of those that happen in media all the time.
Yeah, there's a word for it. I can't remember what it's called, but yeah, you could also just say death to the author, and it's that stuff that you like where you go, I don't care what the author says about it. This is how I take it, and it's the same thing.
Right, and that's a lot of times what I think is, that's usually how stories turn out. I guess because like that's how stories should be written. That's how that's when I was writing books. That's how I wrote them. I didn't write them because I was like, I want this character to do this for this reason, or I want to tell someone this. I mean, sometimes you have an overarching message that you try and portray through characters, but overall, the characters' motivations and their actions should be based on what they would do in that context. You should understand your characters well enough and know enough about them to have them act in a way that's consistent with what they would do. Oftentimes, I would say that the story wrote itself. Like I know that character, so like when I have a situation, if I haven't wrote the next chapter, it's like where am I gonna go from here? Is what I would think.
You should know where because of the character,
right? And that's what it is. I'm like the character is like he's doing this. I said so logically, if he's in this situation or she's in this situation, what would they do next? Well, they would clearly act like this, and then I move the story in that direction. Now, sometimes you do have, as an author, it's not free. I had to go back and make tweaks because then what about the other characters' motivations? What about that?
Right.
So I had a direction. Now how do I make that direction coincide with the cohesive story, with what's already been established? But a lot of times, it writes itself.
You want to wrap this up?
Yeah. I think overall we were talking about characters. We don't know if Waller was written that good, but it turns out that good. Because of the nuance.
I think she was, but. Yeah.
I think it's possible, yeah, because looking at how good Harley's been written,
yeah,
I'd lean on that side, right?
Yeah.
And looking at how good all of them are written, honestly, Peacemaker, his lines, even though they're funny, he has enough good shit that like it's just good. Looking at even
I didn't mention earlier, Peacemaker has his own spin-off show after this movie came out.
I seen that he came back at the ending credits.
Yeah.
What is that? Is that important? Did you see that? I was like, what?
I did not watch it. It's not important, but it is very good from what I've heard.
got you.
I think it has the highest IMDb rating score out of all the stuff in
Oh,
the
nice.
in this universe.
I
So
was surprised at what's going to happen because I was thinking like the fact that he came back. What does that mean for Bloodsport? And what does that mean for all that shit, right? Because now he
uh,
knows. Maybe he doesn't know. He
is
would have
his
to
name
ask Waller. Waller would have to
name
tell him.
Bloodsport? I'm just
Huh?
sorry. I said, is his name actually Bloodsport? I think
Yeah,
it
I
was.
think it's Bloodsport because it
Okay.
reminded me of Van Damme when I was watching the movie.
Yeah, it is.
I was
Okay.
like, oh, fucking Van Damme. I love that movie, by the way. I have it on like a saved as like an MP4 file. Um, but
I
yeah,
think I
no, I
saw
thought that he was gonna come
Blu-ray
back for the next
remastered
movie.
recently. Yeah.
That was what I was thinking. Oh, he's gonna come back for the next movie, and he's gonna be a bad guy, and he's gonna be hunting down Bloodsport and trying to get back that secret disc. Um, that's what it seemed like,
Yeah.
which sucks, I guess. I don't know. Not that it sucks. I get it. You gotta have more material, but I really, really loved the ending where he got his just desserts.
Right.
Like his fucking not just desserts. That's what the bad guy gets, I guess.
Right.
He got his comeuppance. I don't know what he got the good stuff. He got his daughter thought he was a good man, and he
Yeah.
was free to go, and they were all free to go, and I was like, fuck
Weapons is
yeah.
also for bad guys.
Is it? Oh fuck.
Yeah. Uh,
Well, is there a thing for good guys? Did they get one of those?
Catharsis.
That's what we get as the viewer.
Got his good ending. Uh,
Happy ending.
he got his happily ever after.
Yeah, that's the one. He got like yeah, and I liked that. I said, let's fucking go. He grew as a person because he wasn't a shithead by the end. And that was his whole thing. He was like, I'm a piece of shit. He fucking cussed his own daughter out. We didn't talk about that. He fucking cussed out his own daughter and was like, legit, like, get the fuck away from me. I'm a fucking piece of shit scumbag who's only going to bring you down and have nothing good to teach you. It's like, god damn. Even talk shit about the mom? I think she's dead, right? The way it sounded like she passed away. And he was like, yeah, I tried to stay away from her too or some shit. I was like, god. Like he truly embraced being a fucking scumbag throughout
Right.
like most, and we didn't get a lot of his character throughout the movie, but by the end of it, there was a change, and they left it in like the back burner throughout almost the whole movie. I guess they were trying to bring it back up on the whole bus scene, which felt really out of place. Um, but yeah, so he's like he became a better dude. He learned to kind of grow past his fear of rats, which I guess is symbolic of his fear of his mom or his dad. I mean, trapping him in the box.
Right.
So metaphorically, if you're an artsy fartsy type, that's his, that's his fucking Citizens Kane snow globe right there. Was the rat. It was his fucking rosebud, man. It was the rosebud rat. Look at it. It means that he is comfortable with rats, which means he got over his father's trauma, which is fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not too bad. That wasn't too on the nose, so I'm okay with stuff like that. It wasn't too dramatic and drawn out and in my face, so I'm cool with like symbolism and metaphors and stuff, as long as they're not obnoxious. So that was really cool. So I think I liked that. I loved his ending because he grew as a person, got the daughter, he's safe. Harley Quinn's free. My Shark King is free to go. Oh baby, I hope he just goes to live in like peace and happiness. I
Hopefully
liked
he's in
that.
I want him in Aquaman 3 or
Bro,
Aquaman 2.
please, dude. But yeah, fucking love you guys, and I hope you
Yeah,
enjoy.
like, subscribe, do all the things. We didn't give it a rating.
Oh shit, we're right. Fuck.
I go with 8. I
8.
give it an 8.
Wow.
Yeah, I give it an 8.
I'll
The
give it
characters,
I'll give it a
not the
7.
plot, but just the character writing.
Okay, let me give it. I'm gonna take it back. I'm gonna try because you're not supposed to be so biased with your ratings. My personal rating might be like a 6.5, 7, just because of like all of.
I might lower it just because, like, I definitely when I first saw the movie was a lot more nothing happened, blah, and all this like. But I don't know. The character writing is just so good,
right
on all those characters.
And a lot of the problems I have that I would have given it that low rating for are not fair. Because it's like my problems with the intro, my problems with the wacky kooky stuff, my problems with like how they just fucking nonchalantly killed what's his name polka dots for gags. I don't like that stuff, but that doesn't mean that it's bad.
Right.
If you love the intro because of how fucking over the top it is and it gets you out of your seat excited, which is what it's supposed to do, I imagine, then it's really good. It's like that's a good storytelling tool. Just because I don't like it doesn't mean that the tool itself is not valuable. So having this wacky, over the top, holy shit, what's gonna happen next? I don't. I'd have to ask other people who like that stuff. It's hard to say, right? Because I wonder if like when the dude has the stuff on his face, the polka dots
Yeah.
in the jungle.
Eight's a little high. I'm gonna give it a
He's,
7.5.
he says what
What did
what
I
is
get?
it on your face, right? It's a
Yeah.
rash. And
I might have to give it a 7.5. I think an 8 should not be that. It should not be an 8.
right.
I'm gonna give it a 7.5, maybe a 7.4.
I'd probably give it a 7.5 as well, just because I think that's fair. Maybe
Yeah.
an 8. Maybe I mean I think maybe I need to have to
If it
raise
had
it.
more Weasel, I'd definitely give it an 8. No
but
Batman. Definitely a bad mark on it.
because the thing is, what you're saying is true though. The story, yeah, I mean, not, the plot's fine. Actually, I think the plot. We need to go here because we fucked it up, and America was doing some sleazy shit, and like the secret reveal that America did that and everything
Yeah, we
else and all
can't
that.
yeah.
That's good. That's a regular, solid, good plot. The characters, well written. The dialogue, well, that's the same thing as characters, but the characters have good personality. The acting, phenomenal. Like across the board, the acting was just really good. The action, all the action scenes were really interesting and fun to watch, but not overbearing. It did all that shit really well. The first half is just though I think it's while they're progressing the plot, a lot of it felt like wacky shit.
There's like a slower mid part after they get flagged, after they get after they get flagged, but before they get Harley is like kind of boring. I don't know. The bus scene definitely we needed those, but there was like I don't know, they felt kind of boring to me.
Oh, I didn't like the bus scene at all. The bus scene could have been cut.
The party, all that stuff.
The party was
It was
cool, but you're right.
it's supposed to just build their characters together as a group. So I
That's
understand why
true.
it's there. It just definitely it definitely could have been a little more, I don't know, funnier or
Well, it felt cheesy and
something.
unrealistic. He
Right.
says first he says no drinks. Then he says, "All right, give me a round of drinks," and he completely ignoring him and undermining his role as the leader, which they had been getting into it before. So I get it, sort of a challenge to status quo. They had their butting heads. Then he says, "Okay, one." He doesn't even finish that drink, and then I think he's like, "Oh, one for the rat too," and then fucking Bloodsport laughs about it, says cheers, and then it immediately cuts into them having fun drinking all fucking night. Like, I
Yeah.
didn't like that. I was like, the fuck? You just completely undermined all that he was trying to do to keep the mission together. And I get they had the whole funny scene. It was supposed to be like, hey, look, polka dots dancing, having fun. They're all being friends. Because it even showed, I think, was it Flag and Peacemaker or Bloodsport and Peacemaker? Somebody was friends. They were like hanging out
It
together.
was Flag and Bloodsport, because they had even mentioned before that they'd served together.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Okay, I forgot about that. That was kind of reinforcing that. I forgot that they were buddies, so that would have made sense how close they got that fast.
Yeah.
It just felt weird. The tone shifted completely.
Yeah.
But I guess it's because of how fast it happened. I think if they would have not cut to the montage of having fun immediately,
Right.
and like let it build up, give me a scene where he says, "All right, that's our last one," and he's like, "Oh, okay," and then he's like sneaks off and grabs another drink, or he's
Right.
like, "Hey,
He
Flag."
sneaks off with another round. Oh, this was on the house. They said, "Oh, you guys can have another drink."
Right. It's like, like for example, that he goes and pays for it, and then he sits back down, and she says, "Your second
I don't
round."
know. I'm a big fan of hard cuts from like everybody's super serious, no drinking, and then all of a sudden just one drink, okay, and then just cut immediately to them drinking, having fun.
Now
They
that's
did that in Iron Man. They did it in Iron Man 1 whenever Tony was like offering Rhodey a drink, and he was like, "No, I'm not drinking," and then the next fucking shot is him drunk as shit talking to Iron Man about something.
That shit was fucking great, but it was so well executed because of the situation they were in as well.
Right.
He can't afford to do that. They're in enemy territory doing a fucking important mission and will probably die. Drinking is not what you do in that situation. And maybe that's why my problem is. The seriousness of the fucking scene would not let that character do that. It feels nonsensical or not. I don't believe it. That's the word.
Right.
And this is what I say, like, I don't care what the writer says. This is kind of one of those moments. Like, fuck the writer. That shouldn't have happened. I don't think that makes sense to me given Bloodsport's character.
Right.
And maybe even Polka Dot. Polka Dot seems pretty on board. Also, Peacemaker. Again, this is fucking wild. I didn't even think about this. He would have had 0 drinks. I could just hear it in his voice. Drinking compromised my mission. I need to be at full force and full competency to get my job done. I won't even let a
Right.
single drop cross my lips.
Alcohol dulls the senses.
Huh?
I said alcohol dulls the senses.
Right. So it's like I could see him saying that, right?
Yeah.
I could see him being like completely anti-booze. Flag? Now he's been through a lot. So I could see him being like, okay, we can have one, right?
Right.
He's more of a softie. Harley, she's trying to fucking pound him. I could say, let's have 30. Who gives a fuck if we just pass out drunk in the bar? We have a mission to do, Harley. Oh, she wasn't there.
No, this is
She
before
was.
they got Harley.
I forgot. So yeah, so a lot of the characters, it just doesn't make sense. Their motivations, their characters so far, what they've been established as,
Sure.
they would not have been drinking like that. The rat girl, I don't even know if she was old enough. Maybe she is. Probably she is.
Yeah, she was being in like her mid-20s.
Okay, so yeah, maybe she would have had a couple. She would definitely be down to drink, but she also seems like a tired type, so she's not going to really be drinking like crazy. Which
Right.
she didn't. So that is by the scenes they showed, the people who were the most drunk probably looked like the polka dot man. And then but him and then not Flag, him and Bloodsport. Probably polka dot and Bloodsport seemed like they were the most drunk, and Bloodsport specifically because he was so joyful when he wasn't minutes ago.
Right.
And it was cut to the montage. He's having fun drinking, and I'm like,
Yeah, I
okay.
agree. I agree. Yeah, I didn't really care for those scenes very much. But
And then he cuts back to serious. None of them are drunk at all as soon as the fucking dude with the brain shows up. That's what's also weird.
right.
They're drunk and partying, and then the dude with the brain shows up. No one's drunk anymore.
Yeah. They
was like,
sober
what?
up immediately.
Yeah, and I get that. There's actually studies that show that your adrenaline and shit can sober you up, and that there is ways to become undrunk faster chemically
Yeah.
when your body requires it. So I'm not gonna say it's like that's the most unrealistic, outlandish bullshit. I'm not gonna fucking lose it and turn into a internet reviewer. But I do think that's some of what makes that scene not as good. So maybe that's it. Like continuing what you were saying, because we think about
Right.
we didn't even discuss those scenes. I think that
Yeah, we
means that
kind of just glossed over them and we're like, oh, these aren't the,
right.
whatever. These scenes were whatever. And yeah, so.
That means they're forgettable, right? Or at least
Yeah.
they're not as important, or else we would
Uh,
have mentioned them.
I'm gonna give it a 7.1 or 2, I think is where I'm gonna actually lie now.
It's funny because I'm just gonna keep raising it, and right now, I
Uh,
think I might give it a 7 point. No. I'm gonna give it an 8. I'm gonna give it an 8
Okay.
because I assume, and this is my caveat. If you guys are listening, I would not give it an 8 personal. I'd give it a 7 for my personal biased opinion. But that's just because of the intro and where the movie starts. But where it ends, by the time I'm done with it, I love it. Like I mentioned, I'm fucking looking forward to Starfish fucking mom. So it's like it gets me. The characters, they're so good. Everything is so fucking well done that by the end of the movie, I'm on board with the wacky bullshit, which truly is a testament to how good the movie is. That things I don't like by the end of the movie, I was looking forward to. That just shows how great the movie does. So if you like those things, then yeah, fuck it, I give it an 8.
all right.
But I don't like those things as much, so it's still going to be harder for me to enjoy and watch sometimes. So I'll give it more of a 7 biased opinion, but probably a solid 8 unbiased, just fucking good shit. But yeah, that's definitely hit or miss on some of the smaller
All right.
details and some of the
Well, there
stuff.
you go. That's the Suicide Squad.
Well, we didn't do what could it have done better.
uh,
We need to do that as well because that's important. Like, if we're going to talk
I
about
thought we
whatever,
talked about those during the scenes.
did we? I know we mentioned the scenes. I guess maybe we did because it was like, yeah. Well, we mentioned what we saw about it, so we might talk about like, oh yeah, it seemed like they were just doing this or whatever. No, a lot of it in the beginning is just gushing about our favorite parts, though.
Right.
Most of our first half of this review was just gushing about the cool stuff, but we didn't really touch on anything it did wrong throughout the movie until just now. Did we? What did we touch on? What did it do wrong? I don't think we didn't mention anything it did wrong until the bar scene just now, and we just discussed what
Yeah.
that could have done better.
Um. No.
That's why it's hard. I'm like, fuck, man. The more that I think about it,
The brain villain was kind of blah.
Oh yeah,
He served his purpose, but he was very blah.
super uneventful, and he didn't even
Right.
get any cool like lines or quips. I expected him to add more of his person. And he
No,
did add
he
a
had
little
that
bit,
dramatic reveal that the government was actually involved.
which is funny. Didn't we actually see a shot of that beforehand? Didn't we see that footage of the starfish killing all those USA guys
I don't
early?
know. Probably.
I think we saw it very early on before his reveal and everything. Now I don't know if they
Probably.
had like patches that showed the U.S. flag on there, but maybe that was something that an articulate viewer could have caught.
Hmm. Articulate.
Or not articulate, watchful. What's the
Yeah.
word? Mindful.
Keen eye.
Yeah,
If
keen
you
eye,
were.
something like that. Yeah. uh, But yeah, I think maybe that was one thing. I think, but he had the personality. She said, you better fucking keep it up, or I'm gonna shove 10 rats up your ass or something. You don't want that, do you? He said, you might be surprised by the answer. I said, bro, he's a fucking weirdo. Um, but we didn't get any more weirdo stuff. I would have liked a lot more weirdo kind of things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Give me more dialogue. Give me more stuff. But we didn't get much time with him as a character. We didn't have time. I didn't think he was a bad guy though. Was he a bad guy? That brings up
Peacemaker?
a good point. There was no bad guys in this movie.
I mean, technically, the brain guy and the
The two goons.
Amanda Waller is the bad guy in Suicide Squad.
That's funny.
She's the bad guy in all the Suicide Squads.
That's funny because then when I think on the bad guy end, like when I think about the island, right? I think about the island, the people who live there, the generals, and the brain guy. I don't give a fuck about any of that.
True.
Like when she killed the one main dude, I was like, what the fuck? And I was laughing and shit, and it was funny. Actually, I really loved that scene where she shoots him, and then I loved it for her.
Right.
That didn't matter to the plot. That shit did not mean anything to the plot. The whole setup with
that one girl wanted to overthrow the government.
I mean, she needed those two guys out of the way, but that's not. We don't give a fuck about that. As a viewer, we don't give a fuck about that because no one else gives a fuck about that who we're watching.
Right.
No, they do. I guess Flag kind of cares. You know, they care a little bit, but that's not necessarily their altruistic motivations to save those people. That's not really throughout the movie our motivation as watchers because that's not the Suicide Squad's motivation.
Right.
But when she kills him, I don't remember caring about the plot. It didn't. It wasn't like, oh, what's gonna happen now that the general is? I was like, dude, they're just gonna fucking replace him with the other guy. And then they replace him with the other guy, and the other guy doesn't do anything unique at all. The most he gets after that is he says, "Go kill him, fire," and then he dies at the end.
Right.
So he didn't matter. Now I will say I did love the whole scene introducing the sexy boy almost naked and Harley's fucking whole thing, but that was just because I love her character and like I love watching things like happen. You know, it's just funny to watch her be in wacky situations and see what the fuck she does or how she reacts or whatever.
Yeah.
But that could have been cut. Like you said earlier, it was the fan service.
Right.
But the more I think about it, entirely, you could have cut that bad guy, which means if you cut those two bad guys, then you cut her scene with those bad guys, which is fine. Even though it was cool and I loved it because it gave her more personality. But this isn't a Harley Quinn movie. So she didn't need that. I like it though. It's hard to say. Now I'm biased because I'm like, I loved it. It was so cool, and she fucking shot that dude. And her whole
it was unnecessary, but it was still really cool.
Right. It was so good that I want it to be in the movie. I don't want to think of a movie where I didn't get that scene.
Right.
But if you don't have that scene and her reactions with it, fucking, you can cut the other guy, you can cut the other general, you can cut fucking that whole scene, you can cut all of that, and you can give us more time with the brain guy. And he could be the big bad, right? What if the brain guy secretly is the one controlling them behind the scenes?
Right.
Or matter of fact, give more. You know what they did? They introduced at the end the fucking part where it was like, fuck, what's it called? He said, "Oh yeah, they were gonna do Hold on 1 second.
Mm.
They were gonna do the fucking thing where he was working with the government and the government was in charge. So it means Brain Guy's been in charge for 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's not in charge. But it would have been cool to get more of that. Maybe if he was still in charge, because he was the one in charge of the secret base. So they're like, hey, we run this country now. And he was like, yes, but I run this base. But so they still respected him as a leader. And then he was trying to overthrow them. That'd be really interesting if he's trying to overthrow the government because they're trying to horn in on his action with the starfish. So then it's like, now I got to get rid of this new government to get me back in power because I'm selfish. So then he works with the Suicide Squad, or they capture him, and he's like, oh, yes, perfect. You guys can help me get rid of this guy. Or he's lying to them. He's like, oh, yeah, I work with them. And he just gets more development overall. And then the fodder guys, they're fodder for a reason, because then you find out this fucker didn't like them. Suicide Squad doesn't like them. No one likes them, and he's been using Suicide Squad to get rid of them. And then now he's going to like unleash the starfish on them, and they have to fight him or something. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because he's been controlling the starfish, or he found a way to help control it. Or something, right?
No,
and then,
isn't that what the brain thinks?
Oh yeah, he did say, and I'm the only one who can control it, and then never controlled it.
Right. He just got fucking eaten by that thing.
Right. So maybe, yeah, they were going for something like that, what we're talking about, and they didn't
Maybe.
have enough time.
Maybe.
Because think about it, it's setting it up, right? It makes those two are just fodder, and they die really easily. He's shown to control the thing, so maybe what I'm talking about was their envision, like it was what the intended vision was,
Yeah.
that everything played out the way it was supposed to, except they ran out of time or ran out of footage or had to cut it or something. So then all the parts where he was supposed to shine were gone. So now he feels forgettable. And if he feels forgettable, the two generals feel forgettable, the revolution feels forgettable, that means half of their motivation or like all the plot to be on the island is forgettable. And as good as all the bits with the Suicide Squad are, because we just like watching them do stuff, that leads to a weaker movie.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Because there's a lot of movies I have problems like that where I'm like a sucker. Because,
Yeah.
like, again, I like the slice of life. So I like watching people do stuff. I just don't give a shit. I like watching people do stuff. It's like, wow. Like, I would just watch Bloodsport go do a mission. Why? Why do you want to watch him do a mission? Who's he killing? Who is him? I don't give a fuck if who's he killing. I don't care how important it is. I just want to see him go do stuff. I want to go see him have breakfast and complain about the coffee or something. You know what I mean? Like, when characters are well written and well acted, it just means everything they do is good.
Right.
And it can actually, like we're talking about the Harley Quinn fan service. All that scene was so well done, even though it means nothing to the movie. It's just good, and that can oftentimes I think lead to where we're at with this movie, where your initial rating was very high, mine was very low, and then I got higher and higher and higher, and yours got lower and lower the more we discussed it, because that's, I guess, the whole point. That's why we do this.
Yeah.
Is so not only we can do that, but you guys as fans can understand where we're going with this and help understand movies better. I think that's it. I think that's where I'm gonna have to, kind of
Yeah.
come to a conclusion. Is that the all of the bad guys and it's sort of the other half of the movie, if you would call it that, maybe not other half, 40%. I don't know,
It's like 20%. Maybe
but
30.
I mean, since they were there though, I mean, it's the overarching plot of why they're there. It's the generals and the base and the bad guy and the starfish.
Right. I'll give you, yeah, 40% sounds right.
So like that's a lot of the movie, but it's forgettable. Not that it's forgettable. It's
But it's the good parts stand out so much.
right.
Uh,
Like her breaking out of that base. What was that base? Where was she? It was a hotel, wasn't it? It looked like a fucking
that
hotel.
was his mansion.
Was it?
Maybe it was a hotel.
We don't know, right? So that's what I mean. That shit. Who knows where they were? It's not important. Like nothing about the geography, nothing about the world, nothing about like the anything mattered.
Wait, they moved her after she shot him, right? They moved her to a different
Yeah,
location?
they moved her somewhere.
Okay.
Some like prison, but it wasn't. It was like a building.
Right.
In the middle of town with other buildings surrounding it, which wasn't guarded and didn't have metal nothing. So it's not really a prison.
There was guards. She killed them all.
I mean, yeah, there was guards, but it wasn't a base. It didn't feel like a base. It just felt like a hotel with some guys in it. Which makes sense though. They just had a revolution, so probably it's a temporary thing.
Yeah.
I guess and that's not to say like if that was the case, that's not to take it away from the movie. I think it was making that scene more forgettable because we don't care where they're at. It doesn't have stakes. But it's believable within the world and the context, and this is where you run into writing issues, where if you write it believably, then it's, forgettable. But imagine if they rewrote the scene and it was like, we're taking you to here, and it was this big base that was super intricate and designed, and we knew about it.
Oz.
Huh? Do what?
Rikers Island.
Yeah,
Or
imagine they
fucking-
take you to
yeah.
some place like that, right? Or if they took you to like the basement of the place she was supposed to go, right? What's it called? Jericho?
Yeah.
Jotunheim. So
That
they
place.
like we're taking you to Jotunheim prison. It was like, whoa, cool. Number one, that's where they need to go, and then number two, we can when they interact with her and they start breaking in to save her, the location matters. And I don't think you always have to have the location matter in all scenes in all movies, but that kind of you do. Well, what do you think?
No, I don't think location has to matter, but it does definitely like impact your memory of it.
Oh,
Or,
think
like,
about this.
how-
We mentioned this in Star Wars. It's the exact same syndrome that we gave to fucking Solo.
Yeah, they didn't have anywhere eventful. It was all
Nope.
like kind of blah.
Generic shit. It was generic,
Yeah.
forgettable shit. We didn't even know the names of the planets.
Right.
Think about this one. Somewhere in what is it? Panama? Something? I don't know. Somewhere, Central America, somewhere. They're in a random beach, which is fine. Beaches are cool. Like, it was dramatic. That was I'm not. But then they go to indistinguishable jungle. They fight some guys there. Then she goes to indistinguishable mansion. She goes to meet this guy. Then they go to indistinguishable fucking city. Then they go to indistinguishable fucking bar. Then
I
they
feel like
go
it's
to
more of a important to Star Wars. Maybe it's important to comics as well, I guess. But
and
because
that's what
Star
I'm
Wars is
saying.
always
Like,
world building and creating more diverse planets and uh,
right. I don't think it should matter for this movie because it's where they're going. It's where the mission
right,
is. But somehow, why does it feel like the 40% of the movie that deals with the nation and the bad guys and all that stuff is forgettable or uneventful or non-meaningful? Why is what I'm wondering. Is it because it's nondescript locations? Would it be better if like we got like a huge intro of like an estate on the hill? I think so. I think that's cheap as fuck and just like showboating. But those kind of things I think make it's weird, but that works in movies.
right.
Imagine if like the mansion she went to, we had like a whole thing where like there was a big plot of land and they did a full circular sky vision, and you see this like really impactful looking Spencer Mansion type shit,
Hmm.
and then they mention it by name or something, and then when she goes there, it's like, oh, the mansion, and then it's like someone else mentions it, like, oh no, they took her to the mansion, and then it's like, well, where the fuck is the mansion? What's that
I
about?
like that would add rather than detract if it didn't have it. You understand what I'm saying?
You think it's better
But
without it?
I think it's fine without it. I just think it just adds more if it was a specific location.
Right, right. So that's what I mean. So like the movie's fine the way it is,
Yeah,
but I'm
yeah.
trying to dissect why it doesn't feel as meaningful, and maybe that would have made it better.
Maybe, yeah.
Because we're missing something on the bad guys' end. Also, it's the fact that the biggest one that we
Also,
should.
we're like, what? We have superheroes and or not superheroes. We have supervillains. Like the entire group is supervillains, and they're all like unique, and they have like different designs and stuff. And they're very colorful. And then the villains are just generic fucking Tropico dictator and his goons.
Right.
Uh,
Because I was thinking I like those guys in like war movies or like
right.
action Rambo, you know.
Yeah.
I like those guys. They're cool. It's like, yeah, fuck that guy. He's a dictator. He's bad. Um, and he's very important and meaningful to me. Whereas not this time. But maybe you're right. It's because the cast was super and exciting, and those guys are very human.
Hmm.
It's very contradictory or contrary to like what we see with the main characters. Um, Maybe that's it. And like we said, the biggest overarching one is the fact that the big brain didn't get a lot of screen time.
True.
Because you could have left, like we said, you could have left, or like I said anyway, you could have left all those guys generic as fuck. She killed the one offhand, and the other guy even dies offhand. But then you find out the
Yeah.
whole time, like, oh no, the big bad's the brain. He's been in charge the whole time. Then now it's like, oh, that's why those guys were so unimportant. That makes me feel better about the rest of the movie. But when he
Right.
becomes unimportant, it leaves a hole. It leaves like a big, I think,
Right.
gap in the movie. Because then they turn the starfish into the bad guy. But the starfish wasn't the bad guy. Even in the whole movie, he didn't do anything wrong. We have no reason to villainize the starfish until the very end when he starts coming out and killing all the people. But by then,
Yeah.
it's just, oh look, big bad. You
Also,
know?
he's been experimented on by people. Like he kind of has a
Right,
grievance against humanity.
right. Like he's not a good bad guy. Um,
He's
I
a
almost
good
like
guy who happens to kill humans because he thinks humans are evil.
right
Uh,
because he was just chilling in space. They literally kidnapped him and tortured him for 30 years.
right.
And then like now he's the bad guy? No. Um Also, one thing again, a big critique that I can put words to when I generalize this wackiness or craziness or whatever. One of the biggest things I fucking remember being like, God damn it, I don't use this, but cringe, I guess is the word. I fucking hate that word.
Well, it's because everybody keeps using it like crazy.
Right. But that's the best way to describe it is when he's like, "There's a kaiju in this bitch."
Yes.
God, I fucking hate that was one of the worst lines. I literally wanted to fucking turn the movie off. Like, no shit. I was like, just shoot me now. That was the stupidest fucking line. And I don't know why. That's not fair. Maybe if someone thought that line was so funny. maybe that's just personal preference, and it's not fair to judge the movie so harshly. But I didn't like that shit. I was like, it's stupid and cheesy, and it's not like, who is that for? Because that's not in world. No one talks about kaiju as a term in that world. It's sort of a weird fourth wall breaking, you know. That's the kind of
I mean,
stupid thing.
kaiju's a term for a giant monster.
So I guess it just felt weird to me. It felt like something they like as a meme. That's the best way to put it. It felt like a fucking meme in the movie.
Yeah.
Like something you would see on like a fucking a Facebook post or some shit. I was like, I don't know, I just didn't like that at all. So stuff like that, and I have a predisposition against it. So if I see enough of things like that, I'm gonna start rating the movie harshly. So definitely, you guys in the comments, let me know if you see some of that, like for whatever movie. You seem to rate this one very harshly, and then if you see something like that or many things like that, that's probably why. I'm not a big fan of either over the top bullshit for no reason, stupid memes or whatever, and wacky whatever. But anyway, so yeah, the bad guy needed it better, and that's kind of what we can establish as to what's holding this movie back from being like a 10 or something.
Agreed. Yeah.
So I'm gonna give it a solid 7.5.
I give it a 7, maybe 7.2.
All right.
High.
There we go. We're fucking tag it, bag it, and ship it, boys. This is a long one. Longer than I thought it would be for this movie, but I'm glad we really established a lot of stuff about it and kind of had a time to dive into it, you know?
Yeah.
Because everyone just says, it's way better than the first one. And no one talks
I
about
wouldn't
it.
even agree with it's way better than the first one.
I wouldn't either. Like I said,
I was like, I mentioned that once, and Jameson was like, you just like the other one because it has Diablo in it. I said, no, I generally don't think it's that much better than the first one.
Right, which is funny because I don't think you didn't even like Diablo that much. I liked him a lot more.
I definitely did not like Diablo a lot, but I do like him.
Right.
I like his aesthetic. He has a skull face.
Right. I just like
the only thing I would change about his face is that take off the fucking scythe. That shit looks lame as fuck. I don't know. Forehead tattoos just look lame as shit to me. I don't know.
Right. But yeah, I do agree with you though. That it's not that much better. The first one struggled. The first one is a little bit worse. But if they got the drama bits better in the first one, it'd be just as good if not better.
Also, the villain was super fucking annoying.
Yes, so the villain was fucking non-existent though for half the movie.
Right.
I'm part of your team. Now I'm a bad guy. I'm gonna go sit off screen and channel my bad guy powers for the rest of the film.
Right.
Like, yeah, no, if they would have just executed a little bit better, like you said, stuck the landing a bit better, they had potential. The first one had potential. It was very close to being a fucking box office without as much wacky, kooky bullshit as this one had.
Yeah.
So I would have said the first one would have been better, almost, if they would have, done it good. So you could say that about anything. That sounds stupid when you say it out loud, but it was close enough that that's meaningful. That's there. I can say it that way. It was a close enough to a really good movie that there was a meaningful like discussion that it could have been better than this one. Not by much though. That's how I feel about the first one. Poor guy. But yeah, this movie's pretty good. You got all the ratings. You got everything. Like and subscribe. Yeah. Show us all your love, and then put in the comments what you hate and don't like. But yeah, love you guys. You've already done all the things. Thank you. Appreciate that. And we'll see you in the next one.
Bye-bye.